You're live, babe.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We apologize for the problem we had earlier. May the Most High forgive us, and may you forgive us as well. So we're going to try to get this thing going again in a more corrected manner. So hopefully it's not distorted again. Hopefully it's moving forward in a better light. We got to get everything all situated. I don't know what it was. I don't know why StreamYard did that to us, but they did. We received the hand of StreamYard. Maybe they wanted to correct us on something that we did that they didn't approve of. Maybe that's what it was. But whatever it was, we're trying to wait for everyone to get back in the room so we can start it again and begin the process again. All right. All right. Sounds better? All right, great, wonderful. So that's what our problem was. StreamYard was treating us bad. Let me turn the air back on so I don't burn up in here, and let me just check to make sure that everyone received their links. Hey, you get the link? All right. Okay, let's move forward. Okay. Abba's not present yet. I did send him the link. He hasn't shown yet, but let's move forward. He'll be here shortly. Most excellent now. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. So for this recording, family, let's act like we ain't did nothing. The other one is still live. We're going to keep it posted, but here we go. Let's move forward. So at this time in our class, we would like to thank the Most High. Anyone like to thank the Most High for anything special? Now is the time to do so. Who would like to thank the Almighty? Anyone? Would anyone like to thank the Most High for anything special?
Okay, and as said before, I want to thank and praise the Most High for family, love, and life. Thank the Most High for bringing my sister wife and her family back stateside, safe and sound. And thank the Most High for my mother, our baby's grandmother, who is on her way to come see us. And may she have a safe drive up here. It's about a 9-hour drive, and I believe she's driving by herself this time. So may the Most High protect her and always coming to. And yeah, I'm just thankful for life and family and making it through another week.
All right. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Toda Rabbah. Sister Higdalia, I am thankful to the Most High for constant growth. And anyone who wants to see the other messages that was posted earlier, I'm going to leave that other page up. I'm going to leave that one up. You can look at that. It only lasts for about 15 minutes. And if you want to look at that, then you have the right and ability to always go back and look at that. But those comments were strong, and they were the original, the original comments. So if you want to repeat what you said, then you can repeat it. Acknowledge the Almighty. If you just want to leave it alone, you can leave it alone because you've already done it once. But if you haven't thanked the Most High for anything, please feel free. Now is the time to do so. Before we begin, though, let me tell you something. This has been a very off day. Matter of fact, yesterday and today has been very off days. We had to make so much adjustments from what we had in mind, set out to do. Every week we prepare for this, and we had other things prepared for this weekend, but the Creator saw fit that those things didn't take place in the manner that we wanted or we thought those things should have happened. And He's made some adjustments, and we're moving along steadily at the pace that He's provided for us to move in. So we will stay focused and we will stay diligent and continue to try to do our very best in alignment with the Most High's will to move forward. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Toda Rabbah, Abba, for life and for my family. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Anyone else want to thank the Most High for anything special?
Shabbat Shalom. I'm not sure if it's noisy behind me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm not going to stay on long, but I definitely want to give thanks and praise to the Creator for life, for the Shabbat day, most importantly, for allowing us to be here another day, and to give Him praises and glorify His high and holy name. I'm thankful to the Creator for allowing my family. It was about 30 of us who journeyed over to Roatan, Honduras, where my grandfather is from. He was born actually on the mainland in La Ceiba, but we went to Roatan, where they call that the touristy area, but that's basically where you come in the city kind of like life. And we were able to visit there because he grew up there, and a lot of different things, historical factors of my family are there. It was actually a blessing. As soon as my sister and I were like on the plane, like it was about 12 of us on one plane together. And as soon as we saw the land of Honduras, my sister and I looked at each other and we both teared up because it was our first time ever even returning back to a part of our history. And so that was a beautiful experience. Like it's really profound. Everything we did there, everything was purposeful, even the good and the bad that we experienced. It was all done for a reason. As a family, that's what we discussed, and we're thankful for the experience. One thing that was so significant there, my father actually went last year for the very first time, but his sister, she was able to come this time, and his older siblings, my uncle and my aunt, passed away, one a year and a half ago and one in last year, so neither one of them were able to attend, but they knew that this trip was coming because they were part of our family meetings, planning, but their children were able to come and some of their grandchildren, so it was very emotional for all of us. Like I said, we teared up just seeing the land, and once we actually touched down and got off the plane, it was just phenomenal. Like the airport is sitting on water or surrounded by the water. And the water was just so beautiful. The air was beautiful. And the most important thing, like for us, was seeing my father and my aunt there together, even without their older siblings. But it was just a blessing that they got to experience that journey together, and that we all got to experience, because it was 3 generations that went together, them, their children, and grandchildren. And then we went to a church that my great grandfather, William Roger Johnson, founded and built, who my father is actually named after. And that was built in 1899. So we got to actually go into the church, sit there, take pictures, and it's actually built right off of the water as well. I mean, everything was just so historical and inspiring and breathtaking. Um, Meeting the people, we got to meet some of our cousins on that side who, some of them who were there live here in the United States. And then some of the family that we wanted to visit were actually on vacation in the United States while we were on vacation in Honduras. So it was a little crazy, but we exchanged numbers with different people, so we got to see different people. And presently, I'm thankful. I'm sitting here at the hospital now, so if y'all hear any noises, I'm here with my father. But I'm grateful that my father is here. I'm grateful that we were able to get him to the hospital. The last couple of days on the trip, it was a lot overwhelming for him physically. And so we're here now, and I just want the prayers to stay up. They said that he's having heart failure, but they're stabilizing. He's stabilized now, so I'm thankful for that. And there's some other complications that, we are getting all the tests done and the specialists to come in and talk to us about. So, just keeping the prayers up. And staying strong in the midst of everything that's going on, and just being thankful for life and the experiences that the Creator has placed in front of us. I'm thankful for all of it. I'm thankful that, we were able to all do this together, whether it be the first time or the last time, but we were able to do it together as a family and return as a family. And I just pray that, like my husband said, it's been a crazy weekend because the sisters, we plan to go to a sister retreat for the next 2 days. And even that's been altered in so many ways. So we're still, working on it, but it's here in Atlanta. So we're all still working, to do and observe the Shabbat and to be able to, build with other sisters and continue the movement of what the Creator has for us to do. So I'm just thankful for this opportunity to give the Creator all his praises due, because none of this would have happened, good or bad, however we look at it, without the Most High's will. And so whatever his will is whatever his will is always what we accept, whether we like it or not, whether through smiles or tears. So I'm just thankful and I'm humbled by the experience, and may the Most High continue to be with each and every one of us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High be praised. I always talk about her and that amazing family she has. Every opportunity I get, I talk about them. And did you just hear what she said? Her great, 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 great grandfather, like 5 generations ago. How many of us can count back that far? Man, I couldn't even tell you what my great grandfather's name was. I don't know. I know my grandfather, but that's about as far back as I can go on both sides. Fathers, that's about as far as I can go. I know who my grandfather was, but my grandfather's 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 grandfather, I couldn't tell you. Well, she just went to a place because her family is just that tight. They kept that bond for so long, so many generations. And she sent me a picture of her great, great, great grandmother. And the picture looked like their family. You can tell that bloodline is right there within the midst of that family. It's like deep, man. And even her great, great, great grandmother was somebody famous way back in those days. She was a stand-in for the Aunt Jemima lady. Y'all know the Aunt Jemima lady on the pancake box? She was this family here, man, is something. Something else you want to say, Ima?
So, I mean, I was going to talk about her. So my great, 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 great grandmother on my father's mother's side, because we were in Honduras on my father's side. But she was mentioned in the book because of just history. But she was actually, if you look up in the Congress, it's a book they call the Jemima Code. She was one of the women considered in the Jemima Code because she was a cook. She was a little girl. She was about 4 years old when she was stolen. Her father was a free man in Macedonia, Alabama, and she was stolen from their home. I think I forget. She was visiting something. They told her to go to a fence, and these white men stole her, and then they sold her into slavery. And so she never returned back to her family, but she knew where she came from, certain parts of where she came from. She remembered. She lived to be 108. So there's a story. She tells the story of who she is, and the history of how many children she had and how she was separated at different times and how many times she was sold. I think she was sold to Tennessee, then New Orleans, and then she ended up in Texas where my grandmother was born, and they knew of her story, so they kept talking about it. And then when it's a woman who did a story on the Jemima Code, and they talked about her, and that's how most of my family, I guess us generation now, found out through the story. And I can post it later where it is, but it's a big thing, the Jemima Code, and that's how this whole Aunt Jemima concept of not calling the pancakes name anymore Aunt Jemima, because of the history and what the inclinations of saying who Jemima was and how they tried to, depict her, or them, as you can say, because it was numerous of them. But majority of those women lived to be in their hundreds. They were mostly cooks, and of course for the main house. So she talks about how she was treated well by her massa in different times, how she had a little farm, how she was able to have her own pigs and chickens. And at some point she married a free man. And yeah, so that's my grandmother on my dad's side in Texas. But yeah, it's just a lot of history. No, that's your side. I'm sorry, my dad. Um, yeah, your mom is from Texas. So, it was just a humbling experience to just, revisit that story, in the same breath, being in Honduras and just like all of it coming, to fruition of the history of who we are and how we were taken from our homeland into the Caribbeans. So it's like, and it just shows you how we're all we don't know who our family is. Like we could all be family in so many ways because we were, some of us were dropped off in St. Vincent, some were dropped off in Panama, some were dropped off in Colombia. So, and then in Nicaragua, and then finally in Honduras, and then now we're in, North America. So we have so many ties, and we talked about that. Like I could be cousins with all of us could be cousins. We are cousins, basically, right? But
You ain't my cousin.
Well, in the Tanakh, cousins can marry. So.
Oh. All right. All
But
right.
yes, so the history, it's so important that the history is researched as much as possible. Not because to avoid marrying necessarily, it is to avoid marrying your close cousins, but also just so you know where you came from. And so you'll be able to, get those ties together to strengthen who you are. Because it does help. It really does help. I would say for myself personally, like I feel better knowing, generations ago, like the struggles, and it kind of helps me to see too where that strength comes from, outside of course the Most High giving it to me, but seeing the lineage of that strength, and seeing the people and putting the names and the faces, to it. So Toda Rabah. Shalom.
All right. May the Most High be praised. Now seek. Yesh lekem or behakeneset.
What are you trying to say?
Yesh lekem or behakeneset.
Do you all have
or light?
light? Yeah.
Okay. It's dark on her end.
I need maybe.
Okay. All right. Bavakashah, please forgive me, family. But that's an amazing story. And she always has so much to say. Her family is just so well bonded. So, I mean, the history is just, and they got a whole lot of celebrities all through their blood. Every generation, somebody's popping out doing something that the whole world knows about. It's just a wonderful thing. So let's go to some of the people on the sideline who acknowledges the Almighty. Let's see what they have to say. All right, Sister Hidalia. I am thankful to the Most High for constant growth. May the Most High be praised. Adara Yisrael Torah Rabbah Abi for life and my family. May the Most High be praised. SJ funny though. I guess that's SJ's page. Shabbat Shalom, SJ. All praises to the Most High for your journey. Okay. I am thankful to have Princess Medaya, whom I call Malka Hagadol, because she is so great and keep getting better. As an example of a human wife, mother, sister, and most of all, a servant to the Creator. She is an example of not being complacent. As I said, we have to be careful of what not to do. We see so many people stuck in what they already do and not willing to examine it and change to be better. Not her, though. Hallelujah. Okay. May the Most High be praised. Torah Rabbah. All right, family. Anyone else want to thank the Most High? Oh, did I miss something? Go ahead. Y'all can do that. I'm done. Please forgive me. I was at the bottom of my screen. Go ahead. Now, Seek, you going to take this over?
I'm sorry. Can you all continue? Because I wasn't listening.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, family. Most grateful to the Most High to be here today. Especially grateful for getting more understanding on my name. Grateful to make it today after trying to get on yesterday. Grateful to make it today after trying to get on yesterday. For Baba. Okay. May the Most High be praised. All right. Sister Opal, Zanta, Shabbat Shalom, family. Thank the Most High for strength and for my family and for keeping each and every day on journey. May the Most High be praised. Thankful to the Most High Thankful to the Most High that Baba Bilal keeps in the best of health. May the Most High be praised. I leave our high. I make a little mistake there. That's all right, sis. Somebody's working some controls. I can let it go if y'all want to do this. It's okay. Benazante says, thankful for the Creator, just for the simplicity of life. This week was a very challenging week mentally and spiritually, but in all things, Creator uplifted me. The Creator uplifted you. Oh, wow. Okay. May the Most High be praised. Reminded me that He is always the light at the end of the tunnel. We must stay down and endure always, just thankful to have the ability to endure. May the Most High be praised. Torah Rabbah. All right. So the stage is open, family. Anyone else want to thank the Most High for anything special? The platform is open. Would anyone else like to thank the Almighty for anything special?
Shabbat Shalom, Lekalam.
Shabbat Shalom.
Just want to give praise and esteem to our Creator for one, let me rise for another Shabbat. Let me see another day, and seeing it in His peace and in His joy. Even today was a little rigorous, but we got up and got through it. And I'm just thankful because I think in everything, even though in my opinion, I don't believe, I believe everything happens for a reason, but then there are some things we put ourselves into. I'll just say that. But in this, I'm grateful that the Most High allowed us to really just experience family, mishpachah, and community. And I won't go into detail, but I can't express enough how important family and community is. And not just family and not just community, because we have to start being more specific. Righteous community, righteous family, and dependable community. Because all praise to the Creator. If it wasn't for that, then we would, of course, be able to give praise to the Most High, but circumstances could be different. So I am just grateful to the Most High for that and allowing us to see lessons in everything. I'm grateful for my mishpachah. I'm just grateful for even yesterday, I believe that was yesterday, being able to see Zakeem Bilal off to the hospital. It's always great. It's always a great thing, and I'm always grateful to be in his presence, to just be able to speak to him. He's very humble. He's very kind. Like I said, I haven't known him that long, but when I do get to see him, when I do spend a little time with him, he's just always saying something in my heart, I believe, to empower the youth. He says it many times, if what he's doing is not touching the youth, then my paraphrase, what am I really doing? So I'm grateful for his long life, and I'm grateful for the things that he's done for the community. Because if you don't know, I've seen that man has done a lot of things, like back in the day, way before me. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for lessons and everything, and I'm grateful for the Most High's mercy, for allowing us to be with our loved ones. I believe because of how compassionate our Creator is, that He always gives us some type of window to do what we need to do. Whether that's with family or something that we have going on in our personal lives. And I've just seen His mercy and His compassion throughout my life, and I'm just grateful for it. Definitely grateful for my Ab being on the platform. Shalom, Ab. Grateful for I'm grateful for my Beal family. Just grateful for everybody, truly. I'm grateful because I know that without the Most High's mercy and compassion, like we used to sing it in Christianity, if it wasn't for the Most High on my side, where would I be? But no, in this walk, that's not just a cliche. It's a real saying. If it wasn't for the Most High on our side, a lot of us, we probably don't know where we'd be, or a lot of us may know where we'd be, and it probably wouldn't be a good place. Probably wouldn't be a good place. So I'm thankful for the Most High keeping us all in our right minds, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us on here have gone through enough things that can drive you, to the edge. But I'm grateful for the Most High's power to keep. And I'm grateful for our desire to want to be kept. That's a two-way street. That is a two-way street. So I'm truly grateful. I'm grateful for the Most High. Cain, I'll just continue for the rest of my life to give him praise and honor, because he is truly worthy of it. No matter what we go through, he's truly worthy of it. So shalom, lekulam. This truly is the day that our Creator has made, and I'm grateful for the Shabbat Yom. Shalom.
May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Absolutely. So much has transpired on this day. Just today, so much has happened. And we are, the Creator allowed us to create so many memories that we can never forget. I believe it's his sister Gabby. I am thankful for life, keeping my children safe, health, healing, and for my family and the Most High. SJ funny though. All right. May the Most High be praised.
Shalom, lekulam. Pray all is well with everyone here. Just want to give honor and praise to the Most High first and foremost. Give honor to my Ab, and my aim, because without them, I wouldn't be present. Wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm desiring to do for my family and my community. I want to give honor and say my thankful for my Isha. Thankful for her being present. I'm thankful for the men and women that came before me. Thankful for the Bueller family. As my Isha has stated, just truly being present for one another is in the time of need, and also not in the time of need, is important. So I'm grateful that we have individuals that do that. Grateful for the spiritual leader of Temple Kifarim and the Bueller community in Prince. Grateful for my mentor, Chief Prince Zabulin. I've been led with Hideki. Also grateful for Chief Elder Morris Shalem. If you all would, please keep him in you all's prayers as he's taking on a second run with what they're doing to help rectify the cancer. And also, I'm grateful for the other leadership within the community as well. Aim Kater, Princess Medaya. I'm just grateful for another day of life, and just the Most High giving us another day each day to make things better, to learn from whatever it is you may be going through. You always have a chance to change, so always remember that. And with that, I yield. Shalom.
May the Most High be praised. May the Most High be praised. And Benazante says, also, I want to thank the Creator for my brothers and Abba at Beulah Land for always being a pillar for me to lean upon whenever I may need it. Very grateful for you all. Toda Rabbah. All right. And by the way, I concur with that. Beautiful words, Nasika Muna. Very beautiful. Ima?
Okay, sorry, Fluffy. I definitely wanted to. I just want to definitely acknowledge the sisterhood there. It's been just a beautiful experience growing with you all. Everything that Nasika said, about community, having a strong, righteous community is so important. And I just sat back and listened to everything she said and looked at everything that we've gone through, even not just these last couple of days, but just period. And I'm just thankful to the Creator that He has blessed all of us to be with one another, because I can just truly say that ever since we've come together, we've each in different ways have had some very traumatic experiences with one another. And the Most High has blessed us to be able to be here, to pull each other up, to hold each other's hand, to give each other hugs in the most trying times, in those quiet moments, and to just be there for one another, whether we can physically be here with one another or virtually. The Most High has given us this, and I definitely don't take it lightly, because so many people have communities, but they don't have a family within that community. And it's so important that we, recognize that and give thanks to the Creator and gratefulness for it, because the righteousness of that is so important. And I pray that He allows us to continue to grow in that righteousness and that love and that care for one another. And I'm just, I'm just super grateful, of course, because this weekend was it's very trying. It's a lot going on, like we said. And emotionally it can get really heavy. But to have my sisterhood there to, just, come and hold me and hug me and just give me positive words. And to see how we came together this morning is beautiful. And I just pray that the Most High continues to bless us with one another. Shalom.
Shalom, Toda Rabbah, may the Most High be praised. Anyone else want to thank the Most High for anything special? Albert, did you have a second round you wanted to go?
Well, I can always go. Again, this total about for, again, like say the words that have already come forth, and it just shows community and how important that is. I know a lot of us have seen the headline, well, not so much headlines, but a lot of the response to the situation that just with about a month ago, I think it was, took place with the young lady, Sonia Massey. And one of the things that really struck me is that over the week, I've been seeing so many people giving their responses and just the outcries for justice. And even though the officer in question, he's been indicted and all these other different things, one of the key things that stands out to me is not simply just that tragedy, but that is a tragedy in a long line of tragedies. And one of the key things that stands out is community, where we need to be so unified. I remember my lady Shah and more. I remember she used to always say, and we would always get on and when we would do our lives about prepping and about community and about staying in contact with one another, making sure that we're okay, basically policing our own neighborhoods. There was no reason why that young lady should have had to call 911 because she thought she saw a burglar or a predator or somebody, lurking around. She should have been able to call her next door neighbor. And that's one of the problems when you're not in community, and even with us being being a part of a community, but many of us being in separate places, we are community to the point, and I know I can honestly say to where, and we've seen it, in practice, that if a situation arises, it's just a phone call and we're there just like we're next door. And so that's one of the key things about community, where we can police our own neighborhoods, where if there's an intruder or somebody trying to do harm to one of us, it's like if you attack one of us, you attack all of us. And best believe me and the family coming. It's not even a word. But just the impact of community, and like Princess said, that the things that we've endured together, and what's one of the key things that really endears me to Beulah community is the fact that that you all in practice, not just in word, our family and to me are one of the epitomes of community. And I can truly say that honestly, because in those times of need, you're there. And even just thinking about Bilal, I've never had a chance to meet him. I look forward to meeting him. When I saw where his residence was, and I was like, our guy, he got the nice little corner. And so again, I look forward to meeting him. And again, prayers up definitely for him and for all of everyone there at Beulah and Temple Kefarim and Beit Ma'azan. It's just this time of community is so important, that we understand that we all have that common unity, and that where we are connected no matter what, and that there's a lot that brings us together. But community is just the key thing that I'm drawing from this, and just seeing how the Abba has orchestrated this to be so, and that we're not alone. We never have to worry about standing alone, that we always have a support system. And these things are so important, especially in this time, especially with the trying times that we're in, knowing that we have a support system, that we're there for one another. So definitely much love to you all. Like I said, we're just a phone call away. And like I say, and say when we're not there, we're still there. Because we always talk about y'all. Well, I love y'all in the highest, for my B'nai and for my Bat that are there, and just for the community at large. So just understand that and know that, like I say, we're only a phone call away, and even barely that, because you're always on our hearts, always on our minds. But like I say, maintaining community and maintaining that contact to where at a moment's notice we can be there. We'll facilitate, do whatever we have to do to make it happen. Because like I say, and it keeps a lot of these tragedies, these crazy things, because people we're being hunted like deer. People may want to say, oh, it's just unrelated incidents, but every time you look around and there's somebody being unalived, there's one of us. And so, and not that it's not happening to other people, but our community at large. So that's where a lot of us need to wake up, take off the rose-colored glasses, and stop looking through blue eyes and use these brown ones that we have, and understand and realize that all we have is us. And granted that there may be many that are outside of the community that are supporters, that are lovers, and we understand through history with John Brown and some of the others, not to minimize their contributions and so forth, but at the end of the day, it's us. And so community is key, and the love that we have and that we show one to another, not just with lip service, but with actions. And so, like I said, it more than anything, it's really a call to action for our community to band together, to stay bonded and stay close and stay tight like never before. And shalom, and I yield. I love y'all.
May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Toda Rabbah. We did have a couple. Yasmin says, Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah. I'm grateful for Mishpachah, for life and Shabbat rest. Even in the midst of dealing with the trials of life, the Most High has allowed us to come together in unity, love and strength. Much love and appreciation for all my Mishpachah. May the Most High be praised. Shabbat Shalom, Princess Ain. Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High be praised. I don't think I missed anyone. I think I got everybody. So if I did, raise your hand, let me know. I don't think I did, though. You know, normally we have this portion of class here that lasts about 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes. So I don't even know if we're going to be able to get through the entire class today. We got so much prepared, but it's okay. It's okay. Even if we don't, it's okay. So I'm grateful to the Creator. I thank the Most High for all of you. You know, any man who is a leader of people, who is a king, emperor, any man in any position of leadership, the key to success in leadership is having strong, powerful people in your midst, right there in your circle, to help you to do whatever it is that you need to do. So I'm so grateful for the family that we have right here, the strong, powerful. I mean, each one of these individuals here are able to get up and go and do their own thing and be completely successful at it, completely. But what they do is we bring it all together, we incorporate it all together, and we move out as one thriving force to bring understanding and light to the nations. This is what it's about. You know, we have a strong, unified force of brothers and sisters working together to bring about something great for these people. These people, our people, this nation, so we can represent the Creator as one, with one mind and one people. And it's wonderful. But I know that none of this could be done without me. I mean, none of this could be done without me giving acknowledgement for the blessings that the Creator has given me by placing all of you in my circle. Every one of you. You know, none of this could be done. If one of y'all moved to the side and got out of the way, it would take us a minute to recoup, to try to find the proper spirit in a person to bring back, to fill that void or to fill that spot. And it probably won't happen for a long time, because each one of us have a very unique characteristic, a very unique trait that we bring to this puzzle. The Father designed it that way. But a lot of times we get lost and we get cocky in our own attitude with our own minds, and we think it's all about us. It's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. And it's not about me. And it's not about us. It's about the Creator's people. It's about we. And we have to remember that. Oftentimes, when one person rises in finances or in credibility or in popularity, that person's mind begins to think that it's him, it's him, it's him. I will never make that mistake because I acknowledge that it's all of us who make this one whole and make this thing to the level where it is. Now, there's a lot of people that's going to be a part of this that are not here right now, but they will be here because the Creator has already ordained it. It's just not their time yet. But when their time comes, they're going to be here and they're going to help and they're going to fit perfectly in the midst of this puzzle. Perfectly. The Creator don't make mistakes. This King is real. He understands what's needed. He knows what he has in store for us. He says, I wish that my people could see what I have in store for them. And with most of us, we can't. So as soon as we get a little bit of something, it's me, it's mine. I remember this one person used to walk with us. All she used to say was, mine, it's mine. This is what I did. Look what I did. Look, I done this and this and ain't what? We can't be successful that way. We can't be. It's always have to be about us. We have all contributed it to make this what it is. So I'm grateful to the Most High for every one of you who are here and those who are to come. May the Most High give you 100 million blessings in this lifetime, upon blessings, upon blessings, upon blessings. So that's like 500 zillion blessings in your life. May the Most High be praised. And as I spoke earlier, this week has been a very challenging week. These last few days, even more challenging than the rest of the week. It's been very busy for us. And with all the difficulties that faced us, with all these difficulties, the Most High hasn't let us go. He's still holding our hand, walking us through, and still protecting us. And if you are one who feel like you can't see the presence of the Most High in your life, then maybe it's something that you're doing wrong. And maybe you should contact one of the people on the panel so that they can have conversations with you and begin to talk to you and see if they can pinpoint what it is in your life that you may need help in. But the key to that is you have to be willing to accept that help when that help comes. Because a lot of people, they think they know, and nobody, no matter how good the evidence is that they present to them, they don't want to move from their position. They're stuck, frozen even on their position. And the problem is that all of us think that we're right. Oh, I know I'm right. See, because I can show you. And all you're really doing is moving off of your emotions and how you feel. And that's what we have to learn to control, to master, and move out of the equation. So it's that time, family. Is there anyone else wish to say anything before we continue? All right. So it's that time. And during that time, I had so many different things that I want to present to you all. So many different conversations that I need to have for you all. But to prepare you for this class, I downloaded a few videos. The title of this class is Part 2 of A Third of You Shall Die. Ordained by the Creator, a curse that he's put on the nation of Israel. Even in the book of Deuteronomy, it speaks about how your food and your bread basket and your storehouses would be a contamination to you, would be poison to you, would be killing you, will be no good for you. That's all through the book. And how the Most High will punish us through our food for our disobedience. Remember, think about this for a second, because I say remember, but you might not know. The staff of life for man is his food. And if men are disrespectful to the Almighty, one of the ways in which the Most High can punish you is a slow punishment. Why would the Most High give you a slow punishment? First thing come to mind is just so that you can get that pain and suffer for a long time. But that's not what I'm thinking about. In my mind, I think the Creator gave us a slow punishment as he's giving us today to give us opportunity to repent, to give us opportunity to turn from our evil ways and to come back to him. See, all this information that you're about to get today and all this information that you've got previously in your life, when you get to see that what you're doing is not right, then the Most High is giving you the opportunity to turn from your evil ways. A little too late for that right now, Ima. A little too late, but that's all right. We're gonna do this anyway. She wants y'all to know how she feels about her husband. It's not showing up. My screen frozen? Guess my screen had a little bit of a delay. Okay, baby. Thank you very much. May the Most High be praised. It's still stuck. Yeah, I think my screen has a little delay. I'm not used to that happening, but that's okay. So we're going to move forward. But keep that in mind, family, that a lot of times the Most High causes this sickness and disease to come on you slowly. I mean, you be suffering in it for a long duration of time, so he can give you the opportunity to repent and to change your ways and do it better. He gives you that opportunity. He gives you that space. And we're going to read a lot about what took place. So much I had to give. I'm not going to be able to give it all because the time is just short. I think I got like an hour and a half. Yeah, something like that. Almost 2 hours to do what I need to do. But if we have to stretch it to 2, we'll stretch it to 2. But let me try to see what I can do to present some of the things that I need to present first. For some reason, I have a delay on my screen. I don't know why, but my computer is not responding quickly when I push the buttons. Maybe you know this StreamYard has been messing up all day, man. It's been messing up all day with us, and I don't understand why. StreamYard just haven't been our friend today. Maybe it's something we did to StreamYard that upset StreamYard. Oh boy. Yeah, they're not letting me do what I need to do. And I don't know why. So wow. This is I can't afford to go down again. I can't afford to shut the screen. Somebody done did something. Okay. I got it to come up. Let me see if it'll open now. All right. Let me know if y'all can see that screen. Can y'all see that screen?
Okay.
Have the healing testimonies, and it's all fruit based. It's all fructose based. So for y'all to be listening to these people and the propaganda that's on social media that you can't be on an all fructose diet is just crazy. I've never in my life seen anybody die from a fruit diet. I've never in my life seen anybody die from a vegetable diet. Guess where I see people are dying from? People are dying from meat consumption. People are dying from eating too many polypeptide complex amino acid strands that we call proteins. People are dying from the actual uric acid that is built up by the actual metabolic waste from the protein that is coming from the animals. The animal flesh and the animal byproducts or dairy products is what's killing the people, especially when we talking about my people. It's not the fruits and the vegetables, because you were designed to eat only fruits and some vegetables. And I done did so many different videos talking about the physiology, talking about the anatomy of our body, talking about our physiologic structure, showing that our teeth is made to actually eat fruits. Our fingers is made to peel fruits and to pluck fruits, or to pluck fruits from trees. Talking about how we walk upright, talking about everything, even the hydrochloric acid inside of our stomach doesn't get hot enough. But if you look at other species, I don't want to call them race of people because the whole word race is made up. But when you look at other species and ethnicities of people, how they hydrochloric acid and they pepsinogen that makes pepsin inside of their stomach is way higher in content than us, and they're able to break down these meats and these complex amino acid structures that we call protein, and that we can't as a people. So I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm not an expert over everybody. I am an expert when it comes to my people. And we have healed Caucasians, we have healed Asians, we have healed Spanish people, we have healed all different walks and diversities of people. But when it comes to me being an actual expert, it's to my people. So for y'all to be using this Xana D'Art, may the Most High rest her soul, but if you see what she actually died from, it was from cholera. She died from a cholera, which is a bacteria. You know what I'm saying? And this bacteria causes severe dehydration. And not only does this bacteria cause severe dehydration, but this bacteria also causes severe diarrhea. She died of malnutrition because she wasn't able to absorb anything that she was bringing into her biochemical molecular structure. That's what she died of. She didn't die of veganism, and she didn't die of eating plant-based. And then I'm even seeing brothers on here that share the same melanin content, that's from the same tribe as me, talking about it's bad to eat a raw diet. Anybody that's on here speaking and saying it's bad to eat a raw plant vegetable diet, and you claiming to be an herbalist and you claiming to be a biochemist, you need to hang up your hat right now, because you don't have a damn clue about what you're talking about. And it is clear that you don't have any clinical trials or the actual hands-on experience to even be speaking on things like that. When you say things like a raw vegan diet is bad and you must cook your plants and your vegetables, that don't even make no sense whatsoever. All you have to do is go look into nature. And the last time I checked, when I looked into nature and I looked at the mammal kingdom and I looked at the primate kingdom, which is a kingdom that we resemble a lot. Not saying that we come from primates. We are the original beings and gods and goddesses and gods and earths of this realm, but we do assimilate and we do resemble certain primates. You don't see them with a pot and pan cooking their greens. You don't see them with a pot and pan and grease cooking their foods. When you look at a carnivore in nature, you don't see a feline with a pot and pan and some grease frying its chicken or frying its zebra, frying its gazelle. Nothing in nature cooks their food but so-called human beings. So we have to let nature be our classroom, and we have to make healing art of simplicity. We're being too complex with these things, and everybody is intellectuals now, getting on here, rumbling around, regurgitating books and regurgitating knowledge that they learned from the school education board that taught the MDs to get their medical license to teach and practice medicines, which was backed by John D. Rockefeller and Abraham Flexner. And you see that these are people that believe in eugenics. These are people that believe in depopulation control. You then are taking that same information and spewing these lies and this bullshit to my people to stroke your ego like you know what you're talking about, and you don't. You see what I'm saying? That's why experience is our best teacher. So when you look at nature, nobody in nature cooks their food. Nobody. And look, this is how you know I'm not being biased, because I still eat cooked food. So you can't say, oh, he's being biased because he's a raw vegan. For one, I'm not vegan. I'm plant-based. I'm plant-based. I can't even call myself vegan because I love honey. You see what I'm saying? I love honey, especially Manuka honey. It's wonderful. It's amazing for the body. So I'm not vegan. I'm plant-based. I don't eat meat or dairy products whatsoever. I don't eat grains and stuff like that, but I am not a vegan. I'm 100% plant-based. And you can't say that I'm being biased because I still eat cooked food. This is what I'm saying. We have to stop having these intellectual piss parties trying to see who's the biggest. It don't.
All right. We're going to stop that right there. The brother talks a lot of good information. He shares a lot of good information with us. And I think that it would be a good thing for us if we could listen without having a stereotype in mind, like we know what this is about, we know where this is going. Hold on to it for a minute, family, and please try to pay attention to the lessons as they come across, because everything I do is for a reason. But if you think you already know why I'm doing what I'm doing and you see it, then you ain't gonna catch it.
Studies have shown that if you use aluminum in your kitchen, utensils, cookware, aluminum foil, you are walking around with double the amount of aluminum in your blood compared to someone who doesn't. In the same sample where they tested for aluminum, the white blood cells are showing oxidative damage, DNA damage. It's kind of like rust. It's the creation of these free radicals that now can damage our cells and cause DNA damage.
Aluminum foil seems so harmless and non-threatening. It's just like this sheet doesn't seem like it can end up in my food.
So studies show that if it's wrapped around meat or anything acidic, or anything with salt, or if you're combining your foil with another metal. So for example, you have your steak sitting on a stainless steel tray and then you cover it with aluminum foil. All of that increases the leaching of aluminum into your food. The content of aluminum in food can be up to 40 times higher than food not wrapped in aluminum. Ask yourself, do you really need to use aluminum? Are you trying to wrap in moisture? If it's because you don't want to clean up, maybe rethink that, because the impact on your health could be long-term, it's cumulative. Unbleached parchment paper is probably a better choice, but you could also just put it straight on a stainless steel tray. And I know the cleanup, but spray it with some good non-toxic all-purpose and let it soak, and it should all come out. Studies have shown that...
Right. Now we heard that, right? Okay, don't stop. Please.
Is it
stay
me or is it
focused.
fucking crazy we have to pay extra to not have poison in our food? I mean, look at this. Why do the same foods in America have over 10 more ingredients than the same exact thing in Europe? We are living in a poison planet. 90% of the grocery stores didn't even exist 90 years ago, and neither did 90% of the diseases. Just 100 years ago, we didn't need organic labels on food because it was just called food. You're not crazy if you spend an hour in the grocery store reading every single ingredient label. You're crazy if you don't.
Now, while you're watching these things, family, when you're watching these videos, what I need you to do is take notes. Carefully take notes and meditate on what's being said.
Top 5 American foods banned in other countries. Watch until the end, because the last one is truly shocking. 1. Mashed potatoes powder. The popular mix contains the preservatives BHA and BHT. These preservatives have been banned in the UK, Japan, and other European nations. 2. Pillsbury biscuits. Yet, it's important to note that these baked goods contain partially hydrogenated soybean oil, a trans fat that has been linked to heart disease. 3. Bread with potassium bromate. Potassium bromate finds its way into bread dough to enhance its structural integrity, but this chemical is also associated with adverse health effects, including cancer, impairment of the nervous system, and damage to the kidneys. 4. High fructose corn syrup. Derived from a blend of pure fructose and sugar, this sweetening agent has been associated with an array of health concerns, including obesity and type 2 diabetes. 5. American pork. In the US, cuts of pork tend to be much larger than it is in other parts of the world. That's because American pork contains growth hormones. Comment where you're from and click link in my bio to get healthy. Oh, and don't forget to follow Banned Foods.
Okay, we're getting there. Be patient, but please take note. How many of these
This is the
products do
real
you
Big
use?
Mac test. What it means is you let a Big Mac sit out, looks the same as the day you bought it. This has been out a week and it sure looks the same and smells the same as the day I bought it. Let's start with the bun. What's going on in the bun? There's a chemical called datum. A 2002 study showed that it causes heart fibrosis and adrenal problems. Yeah, that one chemical. What else is in that bun? Something called ammonium sulfate, and IPCS did a 231-page safety report. 231 pages. On page 4, it said, well, there's not enough data to support human health. What? And it's considered safe from the FDA? Let's dig deeper. There we have the meat that looks so wonderful. And oh yeah, that's 100% US grade meat and they are proud of it. But what could go wrong there? Did you watch the movie Food Inc? Well, they showed all the weird parts that they use to make that meat. Oh, and they show how they clean it. These apparatuses where they grind it all up with ammonia. Yeah, and there's been ammonia found in most fast food meats. So we can't even just blame McDonald's on that. But look, I'm just getting started. There's so many more preservatives and chemicals, and that's how it looks. so fresh. Hey, stay tuned because I'm going to let this sit.
If you have any questions, put it in the room, but please take notes and stay focused. All of this
Avoid
applies
these
to our
3
lesson.
foods because they can make you look older. Part 2. Food number 3 is probably the worst. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Robert Love. I'm a neuroscientist and I help people prevent Alzheimer's disease with science. Food number 1 to avoid because it can make you look older are fried foods. Here's why. Fried foods can actually promote the breakdown of collagen. Your skin is made of collagen, and so fried foods can actually cause more wrinkles by breaking down the collagen. Fried foods also increase inflammation. Inflammation is one of the primary causes of aging. Inflammation is also a major risk factor for Alzheimer's disease. Food number 2 to avoid. This one was really hard for me to give up, but I'm really glad I did. It is beer. Beer is really damaging for aging. Here's why. Number 1, alcohol is very damaging for aging. Alcohol increases inflammation. Alcohol is bad for your gut bacteria. It's bad for your brain. It impairs your sleep. It impairs your memory. Alcohol, if you want to age quickly, drink a lot. You will look a lot older than your age. Number 2, beer is especially bad because it is made of wheat. Wheat contains gluten. Gluten increases inflammation in a lot of people. Gluten can impair your gut bacteria. And again, inflammation accelerates aging and can make you look older. Also, beer can cause the increase of belly fat. It's the visceral fat, the fat around your belly. This is very dangerous for your health. It also does not look good. And so beer not only ages you, but it also can make you gain weight, specifically around your belly. Food number 3. I know a lot of us love this one. This one's perhaps the most damaging for aging. It is pizza, specifically pepperoni pizza. Why is this so bad? Well, because it's a cocktail of so many things that increase aging. The dough is made of gluten and the dough is highly processed. This creates inflammation from the gluten and all kinds of problems there. And excess consumption of gluten, especially to some people, can lead to autoimmune disease in their 60s. This is a real big problem. And also it can hurt your joints. And that can create rheumatoid arthritis. People with arthritis look and feel a lot older. So gluten can contribute to rheumatoid arthritis in a certain subset of the population. Also, it is fattening. It also is dehydrating. The sulfites in the pepperoni, that dehydrates you. And there's a lot of salt in the pizza crust as well as in the cheese. So the salt and the sulfites will dehydrate you, and that can make your skin look really old. Do you want to prevent Alzheimer's disease and slow down aging and even reverse aging in your body? I have a live event coming up that I wanted to tell you about.
Now, this isn't just about reversing aging, but I wanted you to hear all the other things that he had to say. Please, it's not about reversing aging, making you look good. It's about choosing whether you want to live or you want to die. If you notice, the common link in all these videos is about how food is poisoning your body. And you're consistently eating these foods, which is causing it worse.
Eating this is like smoking a pack of these. A recent study found that the amount of toxic chemicals like acrolein and aldehydes in a large fry at McDonald's is equivalent to what you get from smoking 25 cigarettes. This is because the oils used in the frying of these French fries, seed oils like canola and soybean, are unstable when you heat them, and they sit in the McDonald's fryers, and that produces toxic chemicals, acrolein.
If you look on the package of most foods that you eat today, you look on the package of most of those foods, you'll see canola oil, soybean oil, you'll dehydrated oil. You'll see a lot of these things on the packages. These things are poisonous for the human bodies. If you want to live, why are you putting dead things in your body when you turn around and ask the Most High for life? Why would you do so? We have too many stories right now of our people who are doing the complete opposite of living, yet they're eating these poisons every day.
Alpha, beta, unsaturated aldehydes, all of these chemicals are associated with cancer, just like this. If you want to eat French fries, cook them in tallow. The same study also explains that saturated fats like...
Now, let me tell you, this gentleman just told you to cook it in tallow, lard, pork, or canola oil, he's going to say. Tallow is pork. You don't want to eat anything in tallow. You definitely don't want to eat anything in lard. Those are the two things that he mentioned that you do not ever want to eat anything in. Chronic chronic non-communicable diseases risk prevented by lipid oxidation produced in fried foods. Do anyone know what lipids is? All right, lipids are in your stomach. Those are the things that, the problems that we have in our stomach that comes to a lot of things like tomatoes and ketchups and all those things. So your ketchups that you're eating, if somebody's saying, well, Prince, we can't eat nothing. There's a lot you can eat, but you have to do your research and check and be careful about this. The ketchups that we eat, tomato sauce that we eat, a lot of those things have lipids in them that destroys our gut. And a lot of our problems with our health comes from our gut. When your gut is out of sequence and your gut is not properly working and operating properly, you get things like blindness. You get things like strokes in the brain. You get things like heart attacks. A lot of this comes right here from your gut. When you're walking around with this big stomach, it looks like you're pregnant and you're a man, it shows you that the foods you're putting in your body are not working properly for your system. But why is it that we just can't let these things go?
People don't know this, but in 1990, the three largest processed food companies were cigarette companies: Philip Morris, R.J. Reynolds, and others. Still to this day, Philip Morris owns Kraft. Most of the companies were spun out in the 1990s, but cigarette companies literally took their scientists, as cigarette companies were declining, and put them over to food companies to make the food more addictive. And all those thousands of ingredients that we have in our food are made to addict our children.
Did you see what he said? He said that these companies, what they did was they took the cigarette companies' scientists and incorporated it into the production of this food to make these foods addictive to the humans. And this is why, as I teach these things right now, and as we've been teaching for the last several weeks, a lot of you are saying, I don't want to let this go. I can't give this up. Why? You don't want to let it go. You don't want to let it go. You don't want to let it go because you're addicted to it. Although you may not think you are. You might think you just like it. But they have scientifically done what they needed to do. And I'm going to show you another video proving that part. They scientifically developed these processed foods in a way that would cause you to be addicted to them. Although you know they ain't got no nutritional value for you. You know that you're killing yourself by eating them. Even after the lesson of today, even after you hear all the information, the plethora of knowledge that you're about to get today, you're still going to smoke your weed. You're still going to drink your alcohol. You're still going to eat your chicken. You're still going to eat your red meat. You're still going to eat your fish. You're still going to do what you've been doing, irregardless of what this lesson brings about to you, because these foods have worms in your body that desires these tastes. It desires this texture. It desires these poisons because you're actually feeding the poisonous worms that run all through your system, that lay dormant in your system that you don't know about because you can't see them. You're actually feeding them because they send messages to your brain and tell your brain, oh, we need that alcohol. We need that alcohol. We need that weed. We need that weed. We need that pizza. We need those cheeseburgers. We need those hamburgers. We need that red meat. We need that chicken. It tells you, it forces your body to desire these things. And because you're not strong enough, because you don't have the fortitude, the tenacity to say no to that worm actually controls you and you don't even know it.
Hijacking our biology and our understanding of like what we're eating. You don't binge on natural food because our bodies are made over thousands of years to be with this food. Yeah. But processed food is not natural. It's hijacking our biology. The processed food industry was created by the cigarette industry.
The processed food industry is created by the cigarette industry.
We use mouthwash. So 2 out of 3 Americans use mouthwash, and there's 2 out of 3 Americans that have an unsafe elevation in blood pressure. So we took normal, healthy individuals, we gave them mouthwash for 7 days, and then stopped the mouthwash. 4 days later, we brought them back. 7 days after starting mouthwashes, in some cases, we saw a 26 millimeter increase in blood pressure. Whoa. So the only thing we did was kill the microbiome. And mouthwash is available as ever. Yeah, I mean, 200-something million Americans that wake up every morning using it. Mouthwash completely kills the oral microbiome, shuts down nitric oxide production. That leads to an increase in blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, and early onset of Alzheimer's. We use mouthwash. So 2 out of 3 Americans.
Even the mouthwash that they give us is killing us. Please, family, watch this. This stuff is important.
Of children under 6 years of age. Don't you want to teach your kids to brush their teeth? Keep out of the... You can't give them toothpaste, but you're told that they need the fluoride so that they get healthy teeth and no cavities, aren't you? If accidentally swallowed, mind you, kids don't have the capability yet of spitting out this toothpaste. If it's accidental, but they flavor it like candy, they make it look like candy. Get medical help or contact the Poison Control Center right away. Did you know there was poison? They mark it, they tell you so. Most people don't read this. Even if you spit it out, the mouth and the mucous membrane in the mouth is highly absorptive and you get this poison. Keep out of the reach of children under...
Not just are they trying to affect you as an adult, they're also affecting your children. Now here's another video.
Stories of rat infestations, widespread contaminated and diseased carcasses, and even of human appendages finding their way into processed meat and onto grocery store shelves.
The jungle was not written as an argument for safe food legislation. It was written as an argument on behalf of workers' rights, but it had unintended consequences. There were a number of scenes in the novel about rats, getting into the meat and being turned into sausage, about how filthy the conditions were, and Americans were eating a lot of meat.
There were stories of people distracting the inspector who was there to check for tuberculosis in cows, so that cows that they knew were tubercular could just be passed through and end up in the cooling cars.
The book describes mold-covered meat that's washed off in a bath of borax and then goes back into the food supply. The walls are scummy with rotting meat that is dried and blood spattered and germs are growing everywhere.
You have the fresh cuts of meat on down to like the pieces of meat on down to the scraps of the pieces of the spoiled meat. And they're all going into different products and being canned and sold to different populations who are completely ignorant of what is or isn't going into their food.
Stories of rat infestations.
All right, family. I want to stop that portion right there. I want you all to know that I have to first apologize to you because I was so into the message that I didn't realize this guy was at the bottom of the page with his shirt off. I didn't realize that part, so please forgive me for that portion. But I was totally focused on the message that was being brought forward. I possibly could have searched for another video, the same video, but a different platform that didn't have that guy showing his nakedness on the screen. So I ask that you would forgive me for that part. Please forgive me. But I need you all to understand the importance and the relevance of what this is about. It's very important that we as a people understand that the foods we're putting into our bodies are killing us. The foods that we intake on a leisure is bringing us death. It's bringing us destruction. But what happens is a lot of us don't take heed. A lot of us don't pay attention to these type of things because we are enjoying what these foods do to us and how they make us feel. On the other side of things, we don't even understand that a lot of these foods that we're eating are causing us to be addicted to them because the manufacturers have allowed this to be. The manufacturers have designed it this way. All right. So, but we're going to get into our lesson now. We're going to get into our lesson, and our lesson is begin on page 11. All right. Let me move this to the side so I can open this screen up again. And everything appears to be working correctly now, so we're not having that delayed issue. All right, can you all see that screen? Yes, you can. Very well. And I pray that it's large enough for you all to see so you'll know exactly what's going on. So this is all picking up from where we left off last week's class in Ezekiel, the 5th chapter. And anybody who wants to follow along, you can find out where we are in the 5th chapter of Ezekiel, and I'm going to pick up. But we're going to talk about some things today. And we're going to talk about some preventive measures today, things that we can possibly do to protect us from being destroyed from the inside out because of the foods we eat. Things that we can possibly do to protect us from being destroyed from the inside out because of the foods we eat. But if you notice from the videos, those few videos that I displayed, it wasn't just the food you eat. It's the mouthwash you use. It's the toothpaste you use. It's a lot of the things that you put into your body, you ingest into your system that's killing you. It's also a lot of the things like the lotions that you put on your outside of your body. Anything that you do, family, you should try to do your best to do it 100% natural. Anything that you put into your system, you should try to always put 100% natural things into your body. Let's pick up where we left off. The death rates from violence have steadily increased in our communities from violence caused by using a weapon. Injuries and violence take the lives of 4.4 million people around the world each year and constitute nearly 8% of all deaths. Now, when I brought up the message about the foods that we're intaking, the chemicals that we're putting into our system, the lotions we put on, the mouthwash we use, the toothpaste we use, when those lessons came forward, those lessons was brought forth by professionals. Remember I told you earlier about any man or any great leader, he has to have strong people around him. Well, I didn't have all that information, so I got it from those sources. Those people were the ones who did the actual research and work to present that information to you. Now it's on you now to go out and research to see if what they said was true. Prince didn't say it. I said it by allowing the professionals to say it. They gave us that information. And if you notice, a lot of them didn't look like us. So now maybe some of us are listening, because the ones that do look like us, everybody wants to be an objection to him or her because we don't really accept too much coming from our own people. We've been teaching this for years. So let's see what we can gather from this information that's being presented today. How many of you know somebody right now that's sitting in a hospital bed today? How many of you? From something that was preventable, something that could have been avoided. Think about it, family. How many of you, see, I got several of them sitting in a hospital bed right now from something that could have been prevented. But what happens is it's addictive, and we don't realize it's addictive, those things that we do. So we participate in those things actively, destroying our bodies from the inside out. I got several people in my life right now. One of them, one of the people here, I don't want to expose who they are, but one of the people here that's actively in my life, a strong participant, and she probably could tell you too when she hear this joke. It ain't even a joke. When she hear what I'm about to say, she probably tell you and contest to it. For years, I used to tell her, stop eating chicken, stop eating chicken, stop eating chicken. And she used to tell me, but I love it. I don't want to stop it. And she kept eating chicken, kept eating chicken, kept eating chicken. Now she wish she never ate no chicken. And I understand, because I wish she had never ate no chicken. It ain't until it smacks you upside your head that you see that the advice that you're getting was good advice. And it was advice that should have been followed by you. But because we are addicted to these things, I had one thing on here about what's that place where everybody goes for that chicken. Everybody get that chicken from where? What's that store that everybody get that chicken from?
Chick-fil-A.
Around the block. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, one of the worst places that you can buy your food from. One of the worst places. Their food has so many chemicals in it, it makes it addictive. And that's what the people are chasing after, the addiction for the taste of the food. That's what they're chasing after. And I wish that she had left that chicken alone all the many years ago when I asked her to leave it alone, but she didn't see anything wrong with it because the effects of this poison that you put in your body, it takes time for it to grow and develop inside of you. But once it gets at its pinnacle, it's going to tear you out. It's going to eat you alive from the inside out. And you don't even know it. You don't even know it. People think you're being hard on them by telling them stop drinking. People think you're being hard on them by telling them stop smoking. People think sometimes you got to learn things for yourself. And once you learn these things for yourself, learn it because you did the research and you understood that this thing was bad. Don't wait till a tragedy happens before you say, oh, I got to get away from this. Learn it before the tragedy happens. Prevent it from happening so you can save your life alive. We're going to read on, please. You're not about to watch no closely. We don't do that on the Shabbat. No.
Can I say something, Prince?
Yes.
I want to say something really quick because I want to make sure information is put out there that may not have been. For those that don't know, I am a certified personal trainer with NASM, so I've been in the fitness field since 2008. You can't avoid lipid. Lipids is fat, all right? But it's 3 types of fat. And I want to read something real quick. So if y'all don't want to hear me, like Prince is trying to say, but I am one that do know this. I've been in this since 2008, and I am certified today as a certified personal trainer with NASM, one of the top, if not the top, in the United States. But it says lipids or fats are essential for health. So it is essential. It's a form of energy. If you don't have energy, more than likely will die eventually. Essential for health, but too many can increase the risk of medical conditions like heart disease and liver disease. LDL, cholesterol, also known as bad cholesterol, can build up and clog arteries, which can lead to heart attacks and strokes. So here are the 2 fats that's really bad that most of you already know. Saturated and trans fats are considered unhealthy fats that can raise high cholesterol levels. Saturated fats found in high-fat meats and dairy products, which is what Prince is trying to bring out to you all, like fatty cuts of beef, pork, and lamb, as well as butter. Then trans fat, last thing I'm going to read, can be found in commercial baked goods made with hydrogenated, I might be saying that wrong, oil.
Hydrogenated.
Okay. Studies show that consuming even 2% of calories from trans fat can increase the risk of heart disease by 23%. So lipids you can't avoid, but it's certain. I mean, you can avoid the bad ones. I wanted to put that out. It's a form of energy. We need energy like we're a car, like gas. So it is a form of it. And you'll find that in avocados too. For those that like avocados, that's a good source of fat. I don't know what Prince thinks on that one. But anyway, go ahead. I just wanted to bring that out. Lipid, you cannot avoid it fully.
Okay. And a lot of these things that you ingest in your system, you ingest it either by rubbing it on your skin or in taking it into your mouth. A lot of these things are actually eating your bodies up from the inside out. And when it happens on the inside, sometimes you don't even feel the pain. You don't feel it eating away at your kidneys. You don't feel it eating away at your intestines. You don't feel it eating away at your stomach. And you definitely don't feel it eating away at your brain. A lot of these things that we're telling you about are dangerous to your health. And it destroys you slowly over a period of time. My grandmother got to live to be 90 years old and she ate pork. How many people get to live to be 90 years old that eat pork? Think your grandmother might have been against the eye. There's always a fluke in every situation. Nothing that we share or give is 100% perfect. So a lot of people sitting back in the audience saying, well, my grandmother was 89 when she died and she smoked weed. That's okay. I guarantee you she didn't smoke the weed that you smoke in a day. She probably smoked the plant when she was young. But this stuff today is a chemical that they're putting together intentionally to destroy you. Let's read on, please. I had another video I wanted to share with you all, but I don't see it right now. So I'm not going to. Oh, yeah, I do. I have it. Let me just play this one last video on this particular platform before I go to the other portion of the lesson. Let me just share this one last video. And this, I thought it was very important.
I want y'all to pay attention to what it is she's about to get ready to say, man. I mean, I've been feeling the same way. You have to understand that when the enemy is working, man, they will try any way to get you that they can, y'all, okay? And this is on a wide scale. I'm talking about as a collective. When we talk about what's going on a major scale, y'all. But I will say this. I cannot confirm or deny anything that she's about to get ready to say in this video. But I do ask, as always, that you guys use discernment when dealing with the information. Let's go ahead and jump into the situation.
So I'm not really sure what's going on with the liquor right now, but something is definitely going on with the liquor right now. So 2 weeks ago, I was invited to like a gathering at one of my friends' house. I poured myself 2 little, maybe decent cups of tequila. That's what I drink for the most part if I do drink. Those 2 little cups did me so dirty. I was able to have fun for the rest of the night. I didn't realize what was going on. About time I got home, I maybe fell asleep for about an hour. And then when I woke up, that's when all hell broke loose. The symptoms were, I guess you can consider like hangover symptoms, but I definitely wasn't hungover. Although I'm not really a big drinker to begin with, I can most certainly handle 2 doubles and a single shot. That's 5 drinks. Well, I spent an entire day and a half, almost 2 days, naked on the floor in the bathroom, trying to recover. I threw up every single thing that I had in my body, all of it. The very last thing that came out of my body were those 2 shots, clear, with no food, nothing in them. They came up the exact same way that they went down. It looked exactly the way that it did when I drank the shots at the park.
Now, you see what she said? She said when it came out, it looked exactly as it did when it went in her stomach. But when liquid goes into your stomach, it mixes up with all the foods in your stomach, everything, the acid eats it all up and moves it all around. So it ain't, nothing's going to come out the same way it goes in, looking exactly the same. So it's a whole moral to the story. Listen to it because she gets a little bit deeper.
It was such a terrible feeling. I definitely got with my spirit team and just really kind of begged that they would remove that feeling off of me. It was just such a low vibe. It was that if I could get that energy off of me, that I never, ever be drinking any hard alcohol again. Tomorrow, it'll be 14 days and my mindset has not changed. I will never, ever drink any hard liquors again. It's not for me. I had spoken to a few people after that incident, and 4 different people have said the same thing after hearing my story about drinking alcohol, and none of them drink alcohol anymore. They're all done. This energy was sitting on top of me as I was going through it. I was like hyper aware again that I was not hungover.
They call alcohol spirits because alcohol introduces different spirits upon a person's personality. She just said that this energy was sitting over her, hovering over her. She felt that presence of why they call alcohol and liquor spirits.
It felt so much deeper than that. It was like a wake-up call. It was like a spiritual call that liquor is done. We're no longer putting this in this body. It's over. I literally cried in the house by myself for 2 days straight. I just could not believe that I felt so bad. And it just kind of hurt my feelings, just to even feel like that, because like I said, it really felt like a wake-up call, like it was a message from my spirit. Since then, I've also been totally terrified to smoke any weed, to put any weed whatsoever in my system. Anybody that knows me, they know that I am an avid weed smoker. That is something that I've been doing for a really long time. But I also go through periods where my spirit kind of calls me to stop doing everything. My spirit will call me to stop listening to music, to stop watching TV, to stop smoking weed, to stop wearing weave, eyelashes, all of it. Sometimes I really have to just go bare of everything. And this will be for months and months and months, sometimes 90 days. I've gone as long as 8 months before I felt like it was safe for me to come back into listening to music, watching TV, that sort of thing. So it gets really, really deep. I have not craved it whatsoever. And I think that I'm just totally terrified to even risk what that may feel like. I really, really hope that I never have the desire to smoke another blunt, to put any more weed in my system ever again. Since I haven't smoked any weed, I have not been falling asleep every minute, every single place that I go. I've had so much more energy to really get up and do whatever it is that needs to be done. You're high, you literally don't care about anything whatsoever. But whatever it is that you care about. But you can just sit around all day and nothing is urgent and nothing bothers you. You just don't care. I'm not sure if the liquor thing has happened to anybody else, but like I've said, I've already spoken to 4 people within the 14 days, and they all feel the same exact way, that liquor is just not going to work. It's no longer going to be a thing. If you feel like it's really heavy on your spirit that you need to stop doing something, stop putting something in your body, stop hanging around certain people, just whatever the case may be. The resistance just can cause so much turmoil, so much chaos in your life, and it's just not worth it. It's listen when your spirit, listen when your body is talking to you, and stop allowing your mind to take over it all. You really cannot put your 100% trust into your mind. You just can't.
That's big facts, y'all. We have to wake up and just, we have to think things through, y'all. Your intuition is telling you something, it's trying to warn you before the destruction comes, y'all. But I will say that I have heard a few people talking about this. So when I seen this video, it hit me a little bit like, wow, I just heard somebody saying that their stomach and stuff like that was hurt from drinking liquor, so on and so forth, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention to what it is she's about to get ready to say, man. I mean, I've been feeling the same way. You have to understand that when the enemy is working, man, they will try.
Okay, I think we got rid of it. Let's get back to our lesson. Did anybody get any information out of that video that's useful for your life to help you to make better decisions? Did that video affect anybody? Yes, wine and spirits. That's absolutely right. So we're going to get into the comments in a little bit, but let's finish this lesson up, because this lesson is important, and it's a tremendously long lesson, and it's 1 o'clock, so we only got like an hour, maybe 2 hours left, maybe 2. We'll see. And I will scatter a third part of you into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. We have caught hell everywhere where the Almighty have scattered us. In every nation around this planet where the Most High has placed us, we have caught hell. We caught hell in Haiti. Did we or did we not? We caught hell in Jamaica. Did we or did we not? We caught hell in Great Britain. Did we or did we not? We haven't even mentioned the hell we caught here in America. But everywhere throughout the earth where the Most High has placed us, his people, because we would not obey his voice, in every one of those places, we suffer. We suffer. They're killing us rapidly in each and every one of these places throughout the earth. But please walk with me, because when I drop that bomb, you're going to be like, dang, I see it. And I will scatter you. Thus my anger shall be accomplished, and I will cause my fury to rest upon them, and I will be comforted. Did you see what the Most High says? He says, thus shall my anger be accomplished. He's going to have his way with us, no matter what, because we have voluntarily disrespected this king. We have voluntarily disrespected the Almighty, and we do it every day. But watch what he says. And I will cause my fury to rest upon them, not us, but them. He's going to punish us, but he's going to punish them worse for punishing us, for overdoing the punishment that he had given them permission to do to his people. They overdid it, and he's going to take out his fury on them. And then he comes back and he says, and I will be comforted. After all that's said and done, then the Most High says, be comforted. And they shall know that I, the Creator, have spoken it in my zeal, when I have accomplished my fury in them. Moreover, I will make thee waste and a reproach among the nations. Everywhere you go, don't nobody want to be associated with you, but yet everybody's going to want to imitate you. Don't nobody want to be black, be people of color. Nobody want to trade places with us, but everybody wants our class. Everybody wants our style. Everybody wants the way we move. All the athletes want to be athletes like us. Everybody wants what we have, but nobody wants to be us. And that's because the Most High made us a reproach among the nations that are around about us in the sight of all that pass by. So it shall be a reproach and a taunt and an instruction and an astonishment unto the nations that are round about you, when I shall execute judgment in thee in anger and in fury and in ferocious rebukes. I, the Creator, have spoken it. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine. And if you notice, the word famine is capitalized. The Creator says, when I shall send upon them the evil. So the evil is wickedness. As I stated before, we used to call processed foods Frankenfoods. We used to call it Frankenfoods because it's Frankenstein foods, because they were wicked, evil. They wasn't real food. Which ye shall be for your destruction. And this famine that the Most High is bringing into the nation as a punishment shall be for our destruction, in which I shall send to destroy you, meaning that he's going to send this famine upon us to kill us, to take our lives. Why? Because we refuse to let down the idolatry and uplift the Almighty. So therefore, because we refuse to listen to those people who are teaching us and telling us all about the Father, because we refuse to listen to them in righteousness and truth, and we decide to go toward the ways of the world. Now let's not play games, family. Let's not play games. There are so many of us today that we really could choose to be righteous individuals in our soul, in our essence, and through our daily life. And I don't care what religion you believe in right now. I'm not even talking about religion. I'm just talking about us being the best versions of ourselves right now, today. We don't have to do the wickedness that we do today. There are so many of us right now today under the sound of my voice who make the willingness to live wickedly and do evil, because there's no pleasure for a lot of people in living a righteous life. There's no fun. There's no excitement. There's no joy. So they think. So therefore, they got to dabble a little bit on the other side of the fence and incorporate a little bit of wickedness in what they do, as opposed to give themselves 100% completely over to righteousness. See, this is something that we're missing in our people, in our community. Put it on the record, y'all. Just be real. There's so many of our brothers right now, so many of our brothers who will go out and grab a girl, and under the guise and the pretensions of saying sex is marriage, they'll go out and sex this chick, get this chick pregnant, or if they don't get her pregnant, they're having sex with her, talking about you, my wife, and the moment they get upset with her, they kick her out, put her out, and let her go. She's done. They leave. She never hear from them again, let alone the ones that get impregnated by these dudes. Let them go. And don't have no responsibility because we choosing not to live righteously. There's a lot of sisters today that think they hiding something from somebody because they got some dude that they sexing every once in a while. And they know they're not this man's wife. They have made no claims and no ties to either party. This is just somebody they're giving themselves to every once in a while when they get a little horny and freaky and think that it ain't no problem. And these same people be in a house of worship on the Shabbat day, like ain't nothing wrong with it. Everybody do it. Everybody don't do it. Some people choose to live a righteous lifestyle. And sisters, if you know who these individuals are, why are you so cool with them people? Why y'all so up underneath of these people like that, letting these people live a wicked lifestyle, an evil lifestyle, prolonging our punishment? Oh, that's my friend. I can't get into her personal life. Yes, you can. Then if you can't or you refuse to, then separate yourself from her. Because if you stand next to her when the Most High bring that wrath down, you may get hit as well, which means that you may die on a result of not being a whistleblower, telling the people that that's wrong. if you don't tell people to acknowledge their wickedness and to acknowledge their evil, and you're participating in that thing, or you just letting it be, you yourself are not doing what the Creator says for you to do. If that person dies in their sin while they're still doing these wicked things, and you didn't warn them, then that blood is on your hands. So you have to look out for you when that person next to you is wicked. If she's giving herself to these guys, or that guy who is not her husband, and then she's still talking about she waiting for a husband, how is that possible? I met this one young lady. I was talking to this one young lady about a year ago. I guess it was about a year. Hebrew Israelite sister. About a year ago, we was talking. You know, I talk to these people all the time. And I'm not talking about no relationship type thing. This is what I do. I'm a spiritual leader. People call me for advice. They ask me questions and I counsel them. I talk to them. So we're talking, me and this young lady. She says, well, Prince, I don't have a husband yet. I said, okay. How long has it been since you've been married? She said about 2.5 years ago. 2.5, 3 years ago was when my husband divorced me, but I've been single ever since. I said, how long has it been since you've been celibate? She couldn't answer the question. Maybe about 2 weeks ago. Why are we having this conversation, sis? If you've been unmarried for 2.5, 3 years, why you haven't been celibate for 2.5, 3 years since you've been? Because the norm today, society has given us the norm. We can have sex with whoever we want. That's what society teaches us, and we can't, because that act itself is an unrighteous act. No Hebrew woman should be laying down with anyone except she's married to that man. And no Hebrew man should be laying down with anyone except he's married to that woman. And I mean married for real, not just something that you tell her just so you can pop her. That's wickedness. That's evil. These are the things that the Father's talking about. But so many of our people, I got one brother, he's an Israelite married to 2 Nashim. He has 2 Nashims, and about 15 women that he screwed on a regular that he ain't even dealing with. He just go past and entertain them sexually. They just like what he do, so they don't bother him. And I tell his brother, yo, you can't do that. That's not cool. That's not how we supposed to live. But who listens? So if he dies, it's off me. It's on him, because he chose that. And this brother, Hebrew, matter of fact, he's a Moreh. He's one who stands on a podium and teaches the people. Slide him your number. He might come and give you a visit at your house, 12 o'clock at night, in the middle of the night with pajamas on, because he's just that kind of person. People don't listen. This is the evil and wickedness that the Creator has brought this destruction on us, because we're busy doing wickedness like this. We're busy doing evil habits and things of this nature. If you're not married, you should be celibate, either man or woman. If you're not married, you should be celibate until that time comes. I got one brother I talked to. The brother said, well, Prince, I ain't been with a woman in 4 years. 4 years. This brother waited till his wife came. He got his wife, and what a wife did he get? As a reward from the Creator for waiting all that time, he got a beautiful wife. A true blessing from no one but the Almighty. You understand what I'm saying? It's worth the wait, family. Do you know how hard it is for a person to wait for 4 years to have intercourse? It's a hard thing. But what I'm saying to you is, you got to get the strength. If it's 5 years, you got to get the strength. If it's 10 years, you got to get the strength. If you call yourself a righteous individual, if you're saying, I choose to worship and serve the Almighty, then that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. When I shall send upon them the arrows of the famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. Oh, wait a second. He's going to break our staff of bread. The Creator says it again. He says, I'm going to break your staff of bread. You know, most people rely on bread for their lives. The Most High says that staff that staff is there for support. That staff or that relying part that you do on your bread, the Most High says he's going to break it. So therefore, your bread shall be corrupted. And that bread that's corrupted is going to bring about death. That famine that the Most High is bringing, that famine is going to bring about death. Does anybody know what a famine is? Does anyone know what a famine is? The obvious answer is when we don't have food. The most obvious answer to what a famine is when we don't have food. But most people don't realize. I remember one time in Egypt, maybe about 2,500 years ago in Egypt, they had a famine in Egypt. And the Nile Valley is the water supply in Egypt, the main water supply. And what happens in the Nile Valley, this was around King Solomon's time, slightly before. What happens in the Nile Valley, when the Nile River overflows its banks, it runs way past its ends. Way past its ends. Yes, a drought is always what people think of when they say famine, which means it's dry, there's no water, and the ground dries up and no vegetation can grow because there's no rain or no water. But I'm about to expose you to something else. The Nile Valley would overflow its banks and it will run for miles. So when that time happens, what happened is it created a famine in the land. Because if there's too much water, it will also destroy the vegetation. Too much water or extra surplus of water can destroy the vegetation, and not enough water will destroy the vegetation. So they work hand in hand, both and both, flip and flop. They work together. If it's too much water, nothing will grow. If it's not enough water, nothing will grow. And if something grows and too much water comes, it'll wash it away and kill it, which will create a famine in the land. So people will be scundering for food, looking for food. What happens to the body when there's a famine in the land? Do you know what really happens? You don't really die from starvation because you ain't put nothing in your system. You're really dying from the lack of nutrients, from the lack of minerals, from the lack of the things that are needed, because the food is a physical form. But the nutrients and the minerals are contained within the food that you are ingesting. Like a lot of foods we eat, oatmeal. We eat oatmeal. Oatmeal is not really something that we should be eating a whole lot of. Grits, something that we shouldn't be eating none of, because grits has no nutritional value. No nutritional value is found in grits. A lot of butters, a lot of margarines, all those things, they're garbage, they're trash, they're no good. Okay? What our bodies die of is the lack of nutrients from the food going into our system and causing our body to function properly. So you can also have a famine by the quality of food that you're eating. Do y'all understand what I'm saying to you? If you're eating a whole lot of processed foods, your body is shutting down slowly, but you don't even see it. Your brain is not functioning properly because the proper nutrients that it needs to function properly are not there, are not present. A lot of the vegetables, fruits and vegetables we eat today are like 35 to 38% less in nutritional value than one apple or orange or fruit from 1950, 1940. 38% less, 35 to 38% less in nutritional value than it was just 50, 60 years ago, maybe even 70 years ago. That shows you that the food industry is changing. That shows you that we're in a time of a famine. That shows you that the Creator knows what the Creator's talking about.
So you're 160.5. Lovely. So step forward.
Amy and Nancy are 24-year-old twins.
So Amy and Nancy, what we want to do is to look at how food processing impacts your health.
They're taking part in a test with Dr. Sarah Berry and Professor Tim Spector from King's College London.
What you're going to do is for 2 weeks, Nancy, you're going to be doing the unprocessed diet, and Amy, you're going to be eating the ultra-processed diet. Then we're going to get you back here, and then we're going to do the same test again and look at how these different foods have impacted your health.
The twins' diet will be matched exactly for calories, nutrients, fat, sugar, and fibre.
Ultra-processed food accounts for more than 50% of our energy intake, and it's an even bigger problem in children. So it accounts for about 65% of our energy intake for children. This is actually increasing at an alarming rate. We believe ultra-processed foods are having an unfavourable effect on our health is because the act of processing foods breaks down the structure of the foods. Often ultra-processed foods have very little fibre in them, or the fibre is removed. Many of these ingredients most people won't have heard of. But what we don't know is how all of these different chemicals might interact together in terms of our health.
I do eat some processed foods just out of convenience, but I do love lots of fresh foods and have quite a healthy diet, I think. So I think it is going to be a bit of a shift.
For breakfast this morning, I had a quinoa porridge with berries on top, and it's done a really good job at keeping me energised and full.
So it's the end of the day now, and I've got a bit of a headache, to be honest. So yeah, ending the day, still hungry, feeling a bit sort of rubbish, and yeah, a bit of a headache.
Lots of the things that you've just described about your...
Now, you see, the one who was eating the processed food, she ended her day, she was still hungry. So what does that do? That makes you want that processed food again. It makes you want it more because you got that, you're chasing after filling that hunger, that void. You'll be full up for a second, but then a little while later, you realize you're hungry again. So what do you do when you're hungry? You get up and you go eat, but the body is not being neutralized. The body is not being given the nutrients that it needs to maintain, to grow, and to sustain itself. So therefore, what you're doing is you're putting in all that fat, all that poison in your body from those processed foods. Those processed foods go up to your heart, goes up to your brain, clog your arteries, a lot of the stuff that Nasik was speaking about earlier. Those processed foods tear you up, and it all starts right here in your gut. You can't see, you can't think straight. A lot of those things come from the processed foods that we're eating. This young lady said, the one who's eating the processed food said she couldn't even sleep at night. It made her not get up. It made her sluggish. It made her tired. It messed her body up, and she was still hungry. So she had to get up and go get some more. And let's see what happens. Remember, the more you eat, the bigger you're going to get, especially if you're eating poison.
They all point to the fact that you're probably having what we call a glucose dip, which is a dip in blood sugar that happens about 2 to 4 hours after people consume really heavily processed, refined carbohydrates.
So this is a mousse made with fruit puree and only 73 calories.
Yeah, you'd think that would be a healthy option.
Oh my goodness. Pork gelatin, glucose fructose syrup, acidity regulator, citric acid, sodium hydroxide, modified maize starch.
There's a term we use called the health halo, where you have packaging says high in fibre or low in sugar, low in salt, plant-based, all of these kind of magic words that make people think, wow, these are really healthy. If anything ever says low, reduced or no, I'd always be a bit suspicious, because how else have they therefore made that food taste great?
In the last decade, the evidence has been slowly growing that ultra-processed food is harmful for us in ways we hadn't thought.
The twins find there is one ingredient they keep seeing again and again on food packets.
Look, emulsifiers again. We've seen that a few times, haven't we?
Emulsifiers are essentially a glue. They stick components together so that they have a good mouthfeel and they don't fall apart in your mouth or on the plate. So here we have carboxymethylcellulose, CMC, which is one of the commonest emulsifiers used in the food industry. And I'm just going to demonstrate what happens when you just add water to it, and it very rapidly becomes like a glue.
The food industry uses around 60 different emulsifiers to enhance the appearance, texture, and shelf life of ultra-processed foods.
Now you're putting this in your body. You're eating these chemicals in your body. It's becoming like a glue. And then you wonder why you're having heart attacks and strokes. You understand what I'm saying to you? You're wondering why your arteries are clogged up with cholesterol and other things that's causing your heart to work overtime, which eventually causes it to shut down. And it's because you're eating anything without reading the ingredients, trying to be careful about what you put in your body. Therefore, the Most High tells us that a third of us are going to die.
Some are naturally occurring, others are chemically produced.
It's found in an incredible number of our foods, and they are potentially harmful.
Dr. Mathilde Touvier is leading one of the world's biggest studies into food additives, publishing regular reports based on the health and eating habits of 174,000 people. She's been looking at emulsifiers' long-term impact on health. The BBC has had exclusive access to the early results. They're yet to be verified by peer review, but she says they're concerning.
We observed significant associations between emulsifier intake and increased risk.
Peer review. She said that their findings have been restudied by peer review. Peer review is people who disagree with who hold a different standings than you do. Let's say if you Old Testament, somebody else's New Testament, you write a book on the Old Testament, then you give it to the New Testament people so they can look it over to see if what you said is not real, not true, and don't hold any weight. Peer review, that's what it does. It's a group.
Cancer overall and breast cancer notably, but also with cardiovascular diseases.
In England, Wales and Northern Ireland, food safety is regulated by the Food Standards Agency, the FSA. It says it's about to launch a public consultation on some emulsifiers. A spokesperson for the Food and Drink Federation said, "Food manufacturers take the health of consumers and safety of the food they produce seriously and adhere to the strict regulations. In the UK, all additives are independently and rigorously assessed to safety by the Food Standards Agency before they can be used in food."
The results of the twins' test are now in.
Amy, you were on the ultra-processed food diet. Your results were really quite different to your sisters. They were far worse. Your blood fat levels actually went up. Your lipids, which are markers of heart disease, they were increased. Your blood sugar was noticeably worse. You actually gained weight, nearly a kilogram, and you actually lost weight.
It's a bit scary, isn't it, after only 2 weeks to see those sorts of results?
So just imagine what that would be over 20 years.
After just 2 weeks of the test, the impact of Amy's ultra-processed diet will be fully reversible. But the results are in line with a growing body of evidence linking chemical additives and ultra-processing to serious health consequences.
Now, what they did, just so that you'll know, what they did was they reversed the test. Now they let the other girl eat all the poison, and the other girl went and she did the whole natural foods. And the same results took place. The one who ate the all natural foods, her blood was great. And the one who ate all the poison, her blood was way worse than where it was. So this shows us that this processed food is killing us. It's destroying us. It's bringing famine in the earth on a high level. And a lot of people being affected of it, but we only talking about us, because all these diseases, these sicknesses, these illnesses, we're leading in all of the causes. All the deaths we're leading in. Our people die the most in all these illnesses, all these sicknesses, and all these diseases. So I will send upon thee famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence, sicknesses, and blood shall pass through thee. And I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Creator, have spoken all these things. And then I pulled a parable that I wanted to just ring, and I wanted to bring it to your attention about how our people used to eat back in the day. There was a story with Abigail when David's men was actually protecting Nabal's army and his chief, not his army, but his animals in the enemy's land. They were bringing them from there to Nabal. And David and his men protected these animals until they got to Nabal. So then one day, David needed Nabal for something. So he comes to Nabal. He says, Nabal, he said word to Nabal for one of his men. Go to Nabal and tell him about how we protected his animals. So they made it to him. So send us some food. And Nabal refused to do it. So Abigail, the Creator put the Spirit on her because she was such a beautiful woman to send them some food so that the army of Dawid could eat. And this is what Abigail sent. You'll find this in 2 Samuel 25 and 18. I want you to explain why she did this. Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 skins of fine wine and 5 sheep already prepared and 5 shears and parched grain and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on donkeys and gave them to Dawid and his men for them to eat. Now I want you to notice they do have sheep. They do have animals in this loaf. They do have bread in this loaf that she put together. But the majority of the things that she sent was grain, clusters of raisins, and figs and cakes. Who of our people eat like that today? Figs, raisins, cakes, grapes. How many of our people, grains? How many of our people eat like that today? Well, see, Prince, she also sent him sheep, 5 sheep. Why he sent him sheep? And 5 shears. Why he sent him all that? Why did he send him meat? If we wasn't eating meat, why she sent him meat? What I want to make clear to you today, family, is this. The meat that you eat today is not the meat that our forefathers was eating. If you carefully listen to my lessons, what I've always said was, if you raise these animals yourself, then you could go eat your meat if that's what you choose to do. Or if you go to a farm where you see them kill and slaughter that animal, then you can go that way and eat your animals if that's what you choose to do. Chicken you shouldn't eat. Cows you shouldn't eat because they're not clean. They're not something that they all created, ordained for us to eat. It wasn't acceptable. And most of these animals have been corrupted from their original natural order. So you should not eat these things. Chickens is mixed with the vulture. They're a breed of the vulture. You definitely should not eat any chicken. Cows, I believe it's a Yurok is the cow. The original cow is a Yurok. And the Yurok, I actually have a picture of the Yurok here that I can probably show you a little bit later if I didn't put it in my lesson, because it might even be in my lesson. But a Yurok and a cow are 2 different beasts, but yet they got today's cow from that. And we today eat today's cow, and it's not the original. It's not that beef. It's not that animal. It's a different animal mixed with something else. It's a hybrid. We shouldn't be eating these things. But a lot of people don't know this because on the Shabbat day, when y'all leaders and teachers have your attention, they're not teaching you about these things. They don't care to do this, to show you these things. And think about it. All of y'all sitting here right now, how many of y'all have shared this lesson? How many of y'all have shared this message with anybody? Because you might be getting satisfied, but you don't think it's enough at this particular time. You don't think it's enough to go out and share and invite others so they can get this information. Why? Because these are things that turn people off. These are not things that turn people on. And a lot of these that's soaked throughout the earth are worried about getting a whole lot of people in their congregation. So they don't want to tell them things like this that's going to turn them off. Because people don't want to do what's right. People don't want to do what they have to do to preserve their lives. So therefore, a select group of people will hear this type of information and hold on to it and do what they hear mentioned in these lessons to preserve their lives. So many people that's going to hear these lessons are still going to do what they're going to do and die. It's just that simple. They're going to be dying, laying in these hospital beds. They'll talk about us right now. Them old vegans over there in Butyland, Temple Kifarim, they're always talking about what they don't eat. They don't do this. They don't eat that. They don't eat that. Talking about you can't eat chicken. Man, go research what chicken does to the human body. Go research what beef does to the human body. Go research it. See for yourself why it's best that you don't do these things. What Abigail did was Abigail gave and she preserved life for somebody she had respect for. You follow me? That's what she did. She went out and she got the best of what she had and brought it to Dawid and his men and said, here, y'all live and not die. She gave to complete strangers something that we don't do, but we call ourselves righteous. These are the messages of the Almighty. I don't know what y'all talking about, but the king I serve, I don't even think we serving the same king for a lot of our people. Because a lot of our people say they keep the laws of the Creator, but they do not look out for the poor, the fatherless, the widows, the homeless, the strangers that are their people that come into their midst. They don't care. You walk into a congregation today, half the community, matter of fact, more than half the community, give you the evil eye like you come to steal something. And don't be halfway dressed. Don't look like your regular clothes walking into a Hebrew Israelite community where they all wear ketonet all week with yarmulkes and turbans and wrapped all up, looking all good. Don't walk up into there because they're going to look at you like, who is this? Why is he here? What is he here to do? Instead of opening their arms and embracing you and saying, welcome, my brother. We missed you. Instead of doing those type of things, they shun you. And yet we all talk about we righteous. And any one also of the people of Israel or of the stranger who sojourn among them, who takes in hunting any beast or bird that may be eaten, shall pour out its blood, cover it with the earth, for the life of every creature is in the blood. Its blood is for blood. Its blood is for its life. Therefore, I have said to the people of Israel, ye shall not eat the blood of any creature, for the life of every creature is its blood. Whoever eat it shall be cut off. For all of my meat eaters in this audience, who is hearing my voice, the Creator says, ye shall not eat the blood of any creature, for the life of every creature is its blood. So even after he stops living, even after you broke his neck, if you don't drain the blood completely out of the animal, you are violating the Creator's laws. So let me ask you, when you go out to dinner with your wife on your birthday or whatever day you celebrate your anniversary, and you order those steaks, did you ask them to soak that meat in salt before they cooked it, before they gave it to you, before they brought it out? So you say, nah, I ain't eating chicken. I'm going to get some fish. Did they soak that fish in some salt water and some salt before they cooked it for you? And that process take anywhere from 1 hour to 2 hours to 24 hours. And in some places I read 72 hours. Did you ask if they done that before? Because if you did not do that, then that blood is still in that animal and is just cooked. And you're going to consume it with the blood still in it, thereby causing you to violate the laws of the Almighty. Come on, don't play with this, y'all. This is real. Either you're going to stay on the side of righteousness or you're not. And if you're not going to stay on the side of righteousness, get out the way for those of us who really want to serve this king. Get out the way, because we're serious about this. This is the only way that we're going to reverse this curse, is by walking wholeheartedly in the laws of the Creator. Some of us go shopping in the supermarket, right? We go shopping in the supermarket. Y'all with me? We don't read the ingredients to see what's in the packages. We just pick it up. We let our taste buds determine what we're going to eat. We just pick it up. Oh, I like that. Pick it up. We don't look at the ingredients inside to make sure, to the best of our ability, that there's no pork, that there's no oils that's no good, there's no saturated fats, and all type of things. We don't make sure that those things are not there so that we can eat as healthy as possible. I like what the brother said. The brother said animals out in the wild don't have to cook their food. So why are we eating cooked food? The animals naturally go out into the wild and get an animal, eat it up, because they're carnivorous. They tear it up and they swallow it. They rip it up and they swallow it. We got to go home. We got to pick it up. We got to put it in the refrigerator. Then we got to season it. We got to salt it for a period of time. Take it out. Then we can fry it so that our bodies can digest it. So that's the first indicator that this is probably something that you shouldn't do. That's probably the first thing telling you that this is something that you shouldn't do. Have to cook your food. If you ate what the Creator gave you to eat in the book of Genesis, the herbs and the plants and the vegetation of the field, you don't have to cook those. So that way, you're acting just like nature created you to be. The Creator created you in nature to just freely go out and pick and pluck. Did you ever see Adam and Eve having to sit down and light a fire to cook their food? No, they didn't. And they were the first individuals to be here. All they had to do was pick from the tree and eat. Pick from the ground and eat. That's all they had to do. Today, what we do is we got to cook our food. We got to eat that meat. We got to cook that food. And the reason why we got to cook it is because the meat wasn't really made for human digestion. It wasn't. Our teeth don't look like fangs, like claws, like that, like right there. Our teeth don't look like that. That hook is so you can rip the meat while you're eating it. Animals' teeth look like that, and not ours. That's right. Fish in the blood too. Blood in the fish too. That's right. And that's exactly what's taking on. So let's read on about getting all that blood out. The Torah forbids the consumption of the blood of an animal. The two accepted methods of extracting blood from meat. Now, what I'm about to read, you don't have to do everything verbatim as they say. This is the Jewish man's interpretation, and that's fine. But you got to understand the concept and the principles that they're taking, and you should begin to implement these things if you're determined to eat meat. Even if you eat lamb, even if you eat fish, whatever you eat, if it's an animal, it has blood, you should take it through this process. Meat should not be placed in warm water before it has been koshered. If meat is cooked prior to koshering, it cannot be made kosher. Salting. The meat must first be soaked for a half hour in cool, not ice, water, in all utensils designated exclusively for that purpose. After allowing for excess water to drip off the meat is thoroughly salted so that the entire surface is covered with a thin layer of salt. Of only coarse salt should be used. Both sides of meat and poultry must be salted. All loose inside sections of poultry must be removed before the koshering process begins. Each part must be soaked and salted individually. If the meat or poultry was sliced during the salting process, the newly exposed surface of the cut must now be soaked for a half hour or salted as well. The salted meat is left for an hour on an inclined or perforated surface to allow the blood to flow downward freely. The cavity of the poultry should be placed open in a downward direction. After the salting, the meat must be thoroughly soaked and then thoroughly washed to remove all applied salt. According to Jewish law, meat must be koshered within 72 hours after slaughter. Well, if the meat, it has to be soaked and koshered within 72 hours after it's slaughtered, you're not getting that meat that you're eating from the market that you're getting ready to go home and slaughter. You might get that meat 2 weeks later, sometimes 3 weeks later, because it travels over 1,000 miles away sometime, refrigerated, frozen, just to get to you. And then when it gets to the supermarket, before you go get it, they putting these dyes and chemicals in it to preserve it, to give it a shelf life, because they don't know how long it's going to take for them to sell it. And then you're going to the store, you pick it up and you get it. What the creators say these foods are doing to us, they're killing us. Why? Because a third part of you shall die. The Creator says he's going to bring a curse upon our bread baskets, our food, the staff of bread that we use to maintain our life. He's going to curse it because we did not obey him. He knows what he's doing. Any person who eat that which dieth of itself, or what is torn by beasts, whether he is a native or a sojourner, shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. Then he shall be clean. But if he does not wash them or bathe his flesh, he shall bear his iniquities. So what is that saying? That's saying if you eating food from some store, you don't know how it died, at the minimum you should do is take a bath before the sun goes down, bathe yourself, bathe your clothes before the sun goes down. So after the sun go down, which is the next day, you'll be clean. You follow me? That's what the law says. I read this part too. Whoever tends a fig tree will eat its fruit, and he who guards his master will be honored. As in water, your face reflects face. So what is this really saying? Up until this part, it's really saying that whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. However you're good to people, you're going to get that goodness back to you. If you plant that tree, then you're going to get that food back to you. It's going to come back to you because of the work that you put in. So the heart of man reflects the man. Sheol and the grave and hell, well, ain't no hell, but the grave are never satisfied. And never satisfied are the eyes of a man. You can't please everyone. Deuteronomy 28:17, curse shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Again, the Most High is letting us know that our foods will be a curse unto us. Now, what I want to do is I want to go to, oh man, we're going to have a part 3. We're going to have to. And I think that the best place to have this part 3 would be beginning with this. Well, we might can get this chapter in. Let's go, everybody, please, to the book of Numbers, the 11th chapter. Let's cover that, please. Numbers, the 11th chapter. Numbers, the 11th chapter. Do we all see it? All right. Numbers, the 11th chapter. Let's start at verse 1. Can we get a volunteer to read, please? Can we get a volunteer to read the book of Numbers, the 11th chapter, please?
I could read, but it'll have to be off what I'm reading from, because yours is really small.
All right, let me see if I can open it up a little bit for you. Make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's just really small. I can just.
Yeah, let me see if it'll let me. Let me try something. Okay, you might have to read yours because it's not letting me. All right, very well. So I'll follow along. That way everybody else can have something to read if you're reading a different version than what Nasik has. To the Rabbah. Numbers, the 11th chapter.
And it came to be, when the people were as complainers, it was evil in the ears of the Most High. The Most High heard it, and his displeasure burned. And the fire of the Most High burned among them, and consumed those in the outskirts of the camp.
Now the people was complaining. They was bickering. They was murmuring. They kept going back and forth talking about what they don't have, what they don't like, and what they wanted. Do you know how difficult it is to be with a person that's always complaining over and over and over? And Moshe is trying to lead these people and guide these people and teach them about the Most High, and all they're doing is complaining and murmuring it all in his ear. So go ahead. The people are really upsetting the Creator. They're upsetting Moshe too. But watch what the Most High does. Read on, please.
And the people cried out to Moshe, and Moshe prayed to the Most High, and the fire died down.
And Moshe prayed to the Most High, and the fire died down at the request of Moshe. Now, when the word says, and the fire died down, oh man, come on now. What was that? The fire died down. I wanted to bring forth something on that, and I'm trying to remember Shakar. All right, go ahead, read on, because I don't remember what it was. Please, go ahead.
3. Then he called the name of the place Tabera, because the fire of the Most High had burned among them. And the mixed multitude who were in the midst lusted greatly. So the children of Israel also wept again and said, who has given us meat to eat?
Stop for a second, please. And my version has it as this. And the rambling. Now, the rambling that was among them had a strong craving. Now, the craving is a desire. It's a passion. It's a desire to have something. Remember what I told you earlier about the worms that's in your body? Those worms make you have cravings for certain things. Now, we were eating meat in the Egyptians' land. We just came out of Egypt. So we had a lot of craving, those worms still in our bodies, craving flesh again. It wasn't that we wasn't eating. The Most High was providing for us. But we wanted flesh. Basar. We wanted flesh. And let's see what happens. Read on, please. Even then, we didn't want to give up that meat. Read on.
5. We remember the fish which we ate without cost in Mizraim, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic.
So what they tell you about their diet, they didn't just eat the fish. They ate cucumbers. They ate melons. They ate leeks. They ate onions. They ate garlic. They ate vegetables. When's the last time you had vegetables on your plate, family? When's the last time you ate some fruit, family? And I'm not talking about one apple in a week. I'm talking about fruit consistently in your diet. When's the last time you went 3 days straight with eating fruit and vegetables? Even if you eating meat, still have you went 3 days with fruit and vegetables, even for the amount of time that you ate your meat? Just when was the last time that's happened? Read on, please.
But now our being is dried up. There is not to look at but this man or manna.
There is nothing for us to look at but manna. You see, the Creator did a miracle. He caused manna to fall from the sky for 40 years for the children of Israel. He called manna, the angels' food, they call it, to fall from the sky. And it was like a little wafer on the ground. They would pick it up and they would eat it. It was real light. And they got tired of that. See, they got tired of manna because it wasn't creating cravings inside their body. If you give somebody something for a long period of time, they'll begin to abuse it if they are not receiving it in the proper manner. So the Creator had to be careful in how he did what he did with us. We took the manna, we began to be abusive and unappreciative of the manna, how it sustained us, and we started having these cravings because these worms was rising up, and we couldn't control these worms. So these worms actually said, give us some meat. We want some flesh. So what did we do? We started murmuring against the Creator by way of food. Although we had all the food we needed, he was providing for us, but we felt it wasn't what we wanted, so we wanted more. Read on, please, and watch what happens, family.
7. Now the man was like coriander seed, and its appearance like the appearance of bdellium. The people went about and gathered it, ground it on millstones, or beat it in the mortar, and cooked it in a pot and made cakes of it. And its taste was as it tastes of the cakes baked with oil. And when the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna fell on it. And Moshe heard the people weeping throughout their clans, each man at the door of his tent. And the displeasure of the Most High burned exceedingly. And in the eyes of Moshe, it was evil.
So now Moshe is walking around while the people are complaining because they ain't got no meat to eat. They got plenty of manna, but they ain't got no meat to eat. I heard some people today talking about, man, nobody gonna eat no fruit and vegetables all their life, complaining that they ain't got no meat to eat. Man, don't nobody want to walk around just eating fruit and vegetables. That's what she told me one day when I told her, stop eating that chicken. She said, I want some meat. And that meat killing her. It's destroying us from the inside out. But we're not trying to hear that because we want to satisfy these cravings we got. We want to satisfy these worms we have. So therefore, the real brain that controls the show is those little parasites that's in our bodies that tell us we need sugar. We don't need no sugar. That tell us we need meat to eat, and we don't need no meat to eat. Those parasites are controlling us. Parasites was controlling us back then. The Creator fed us. We had all we needed. We were healthy. And I'm sure all the nutrients you needed was in that manna or mine. But we chose not to take the Creator's way. We wanted to go with what we were accustomed to. Just like today, you choose not to listen to Prince because Prince is bringing this lesson. You want to do what you have been accustomed to all these years before you heard this lesson. And that is to consume your chicken. That is consume your beef. That is consume your cow. That is consume your turkey. All these things, and most of those things are unclean and should not be consumed by a Hebrew. But because you've been eating them for so long, you refuse to let them go. Don't nobody want to hear nobody stand up here for 2 hours and tell them what they can't eat when they've been eating it all their lives. Well, you ate pork most of your life when you were younger. You came into the knowledge, you had to let that pork go. You let that go, didn't you? You did, didn't you? You did, didn't you? Oh, yeah, some of y'all still holding on to that pork. I know what it is. Some of y'all say that pork bacon is all I eat, though. I know, Prince, I let the pork go, but I just that something about that bacon. Read on, please.
11. So Moshe said to the Most High, why have you done evil to your servant, and why have I not found favor in your eyes to put the burden of all these people on me?
Did you see what Moshe said? See, he said, Creator, why are you punishing me? What did I do evil in your eyes, Creator, that you got me walking with these people that all they do is complain, bicker, and murmur? The people are not appreciative of any of your blessings, Creator. And you got me walking with them. Read on, please.
Was it I who conceived all these people?
I didn't bear all these children. So that kind of lets us know that if you make a child, you should be taking care of the child. That's like a little hint for us. Read on, please. That's for all y'all absentee fathers out there. Read on, please.
Was it I who brought them forth, that you should say to me, carry them in your bosom as the foster father carries a nursing child to the land which you swore to their fathers? Where am I to get meat to give all these people? For they weep before me, saying, give us meat to eat.
Did you see how that was a job of him being the leader? To take on the needs of the people? Do y'all understand what's happening here? Moshe was the greatest example of all leaders. He goes to the Most High and says, why are you giving me this burden, this heck of a job with these unappreciative people to lead them? And they got all these needs and all these desires, but I ain't got no meat to give them, Creator. Because that's the job of a leader. The job of a leader is to provide the needs of his people. Moshe understood that. But Moshe is also being honest and confessing to the Creator, I can't meet that need. What am I to do? But watch what the Most High has in store.
14. I am unable to bear all these people alone because the burden is too heavy for me.
He said, give me some help because I can't do all this.
And if you are doing this to me, kill me. Please kill me.
What did he say? What did he say? If you're going to make me do this, do what to me?
Kill me.
Kill me. He said, I would rather not live than to deal with Israel. I would rather not be here than to deal with these ungrateful people. Have you ever had somebody in your life, somebody that you done went out of your way to bend over backwards to help them and do something for them? Sacrificed your own to get something for them so that they could get what they needed? And they didn't even say thank you. Matter of fact, they turn against you and start a rebellion against you. Do you know how that feels?
Yep.
I had one take me to court the other day and try to sue me, talking about Prince did this and Prince did that. What are you talking about? You ate at my table. You sat in my house. I paid your bills. I helped you. I picked you up and walked you across the street when nobody would come and do it. All kind of things because I'm supposed to. And then you're going to go get the white man involved and tell the white man that I did something to you that didn't even happen. Making up a complete fabrication just to try to give me a bad rep. That's unrighteous. It's horrible. When you stand in a position of leadership, people expect you to be what they will not be. And you in position of leadership, people to expect you to be what they themselves will not be. Read on, please.
If I have found favor in your eyes, and let me not see my evil. 16. Then the Most High said to Moshe, gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of appointment.
Now, what did I tell you? What did I tell y'all about? If he's a great leader, he got skilled and qualified men that's able to do their own thing right around him, working with him to keep and help and to assist him in his task. Here's a prime example of it right here. What did Creator tell him to do? Go gather for me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be elders of the people. Not elders in age, but elders in wisdom. Not elders because people like them, but elders in effectiveness, getting things done. And that's another problem with Israel. We go for popularity. Oh, this man been around for a long time. Everybody know him. What has he done for the people? That should be the question. How has he fed the people? How has he led the people? And the people was under his leadership. What are they doing now? How have they grown from his messages? How has it been productive in their lives? What type of lifestyle are they living? Everybody can talk the talk, but very few people can put up and walk the walk. Read on, please.
And bring them to the tent of appointment and let them stand there with you. And I shall come down and speak with you there, and shall take of the spirit that is on you and put on them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you.
Take the spirit that is on you and put it on them, and they shall help you to bear that burden. The Creator didn't say, didn't I put you in that position, Moshe? Get it done. He didn't say that. The Most High had compassion. He had compassion upon Moshe. And he said, you know what? If that's too hard for you, Moshe, okay, no problem. Go get these 70 men that you know are men worthy of this position. Bring them here, and I'll take a portion of the spirit that I put on you and put it on them. So you know what that meant? That meant that they had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that they did not have prior. He enhanced, he increased, he placed something on them that they didn't have within them prior. And that's how the Holy Spirit works in our lives. When the Holy Spirit from the Most High really comes upon us, it gives us a whole new understanding. So whatever understanding you had when you first lived in this life and became into this way of Hebrew, and you've been here for several years, once that spirit get on you, you'll start to look at everything you thought you knew and realize you didn't know nothing at all. Read on, please.
So that you do not bear yourself alone. And say to the people, set yourselves apart for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat, because you have wept in the hearing of the Most High, saying, who has given us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Mizraim. And the Most High shall give you meat, and you shall eat.
Stop for a second. They cried to the Most High about having meat to eat. Obviously, that's not what the Most High had in store for them. He gave them manna. He could have very well gave them 50 million goats and 50 million sheep and 50 million lamb. He could have very well gave them all of those things to eat, but he didn't. He gave them an endless supply of manna. Wafers that will fall from the heavens that was light, they could pick up and they could eat. Like coriander seeds, I think it says there are. He gave them that to eat, but they wasn't satisfied with those things. So when they cried to him, and I want y'all to hear this, they cried to the Most High, complained to the Most High about what they didn't have and what they thought they needed. And watch how the Most High deal with. He heard their cry. He gave over to what they desired, but he punished them with it at the same time. So what am I saying? Oftentimes, what you think is a blessing is not really a blessing. A lot of times the Creator curses you and disguises it as a blessing. Read on, please.
You are going to eat, verse 19, you are going to eat not 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days, but for a month of days, or I might say new moon in some of you else translations, until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes an abomination to you.
Until it comes out of your nostrils, you're going to eat that meat. the Creator again, all the way back here, cursed us with meat. Why? Because we didn't want to let it go. He pulled that meat away from us, and he gave us wafers from heaven. They call them manna. He gave us wafers from heaven. He said, here, eat this. But we said, no, we want the meat. And we cried and we complained. And guess what? The Creator gave us meat. He gave us so much meat that it came out of our nostrils, he said. Let me tell you something. When you read on a little further, you're going to see where outside of the camp, the meat that he gave us was piled up, at least about 24 inches off the ground. And it went way out in the fields. It sat outside the camp, and we had enough meat to eat for a month for all those people, 600 and something thousand people. Watch this. Watch it. Let's read. Let's see what it goes. Read on, please.
Until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes an abomination to you, because you rejected the Most High, who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we come up out of Mizraim? And Moshe said, the people in whose midst I am are 600,000 men on foot. And you have said, I give them meat to eat for a new month, a new moon of days. 22, could flocks and herds be slain for them to be sufficient for them? Or could all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to be sufficient for them? And the Most High said to Moshe, is the arm of the Most High too short?
Why are you saying why are you saying that, Moshe, like that's an impossible thing to me to do? Oh man, you forget who you're talking to, Moshe. That's a small thing for me. Now see.
And Most High said to Moshe, is the arm of the Most High too short? Now see whether my word meets you or not. And Moshe went out and spoke to the people of the words of the Most High, and he gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people and placed them around the tent. And the Most High came down in the cloud and spoke to him and took of the spirit that was upon him and placed the same upon the 70 elders. And it came to be when the spirit rested upon them that they prophesied, but did not continue. However, 2 men had remained in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad, and the spirit rested upon them. Now,
so Eldad and Medad, who was a smart, wise, intelligent leadership men who didn't come out, remained in the camp, and the spirit of Moshe rested upon them. So now they got the gift of prophecy. And watch, they're going to be inside the camp, and they're going to be prophesying and telling people about the Most High and what's going to happen, all those things. And some of the people are going to get jealous and envious because that spirit ain't on them. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to go tell. They're going to go tell Moshe because these people got something that they ain't got. And watch what happens. Read on, please.
Now they were among those listed, but did not go out to the tent, and they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran and informed Moshe and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. And Yehoshua, son of Nun, Moshe's assistant from his youth, answered and said, Moshe, my master, forbid them. Then Moshe said to him, are you jealous for my sake? Oh, that all the people of the Most High were prophets. And
he said, all the people of the Most High were prophets and able to prophesy. So family, what this is saying is that you should never be ashamed or never be speaking ill about those who are prophesying in the name of the Most High. If anything, all of us should speak positivity in the name of the Most High. Read on, please.
Oh, that all the people of the Most High were prophets, that the Most High would put his spirit upon them. And Moshe returned to the camp, both he and the elders of Israel. And a wind went forth from the Most High, and it brought quail from the sea and let them fall beside the camp.
So the wind went forward. The Ruach is obeying the voice of the Most High. And it came forth, and it brought quail from the sea. And they fell beside the camp. Watch this, family. Watch how many came.
About a day's journey on this side and about a day's journey on the other side, all around the camp.
They fell around the camp where you can walk for a whole day and it's dead quails on the ground. Who even know if they're dead? We don't even know if they're dead, but they're on the ground. They probably just can't fly. For a whole month, the Creator gave him enough to sustain those people. Who would have ever imagined that that would have happened? Who in their right mind would have imagined that the Most High would have brought quail to completely surround the camp, that they could just go out and take their pick and kill whatever bird they wanted to eat and eat it? Who would have ever imagined that? Don't think that the hand of the Most High is short, family. No matter what your problem is, no matter what your situation is, the Creator is able. He is able, and he will. But you, if you want to demand something of the Creator, make sure that you're doing what the Creator demands of you. Give him the best of you. Don't be, as my sister says, Sister Higdalia, don't be a Shabbat Israelite. Be a 24-hour a day, 7 days a week Hebrew Israelite, walking in righteousness always. Be that type of Hebrew. And then you can demand of the Creator. You can say to the Creator, yo, what's up, Creator? I did this, and I did that because you told me to. This is what I need. And pop, there it is. That's how the Most High works. And he don't always give you because you ask for it, because you think you need it. He does things in his time when he knows it's best for you in your life. Read on, please.
And about 2 cubits above the surface of the ground.
2 cubits above the surface is
And
how high they were.
And the people were up all that day and all that night and all the next day and gathered the quail. He who had at least gathered 10 omers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. The meat was still between their teeth before it was chewed. And the wrath of the Most High burned against the people, and the Most High struck the people with an exceeding great plague.
The wrath of the Most High came down while they was consuming what they bothered the Most High about that they did not need. He gave it because they was crying and complaining about it, but it ended up being a curse to them. Be careful what you pray for, family. Be real precise. A lot of women pray for a husband. A lot of men pray for a wife. And then when they got them, oh, Creator, please, they prayed to take them away. Because their prayers wasn't as precise as it should have been. But they didn't realize that until after the fact. Read on, please. We're almost to our end.
Then he called the name of that place Kibroth Hataawa, because there they buried the people who had lusted.
They buried the people who was craving, who was lusting, who was desiring something that they should have never desired. These was the ringleaders, y'all. They was asking something of the Most High they should have never asked for. We have to be, now I want to say this carefully because I want you to understand. We have to learn to be content with where the Most High has us, what he's giving us and what he's blessing us with. We have to learn to be content. That doesn't mean that you don't desire more, but the way you go about your desiring more is what's most important. Read on, please.
From Kibroth Hataawa, the people set out for Hastaroth, and there were at Hastaroth.
All right. May the Most High be praised. So before we close out, are there any questions or comments? Would anybody like to comment? Was there any questions on the side? Because I couldn't see the screen. If there's anything you guys know we need to get into, please let me know.
Shalom, I have a few comments I would like to say.
Yes.
I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. I was just I was impressed of the study that they showed with the twins in the beginning. When I want to say Shabbat Shalom Lekulam, and it was a great teaching. I wrote, the study from the video showed it took 2 weeks to throw off the young lady's body unhealthily. They were able to reverse it in those 2 weeks by replacing those meals with healthier alternatives. It was a piece of hope for those wanting to turn their health around. Our health crisis can be reversed. But one thing I was looking at, for people who have been sick for years, that means that it's going to take some time for your bodies to get realigned. But of course, with consistency, you can get there. Because I thought it was awesome that it showed that it took her 2 weeks to get back to normal, because it took 2 weeks for her to damage her body.
That's right.
Health is so important. Our forefathers had their own fights and wars. In my opinion, ours is now, from my opinion, predominantly family structure and the fight for our health. And I was talking to a coach, Joel, about this too. Like, on social media, mukbangs have become so popular. I'm not sure if anybody knows what those are. Mukbangs, they're videos of people basically eating food for views. I said mukbangs are so popular, and it is a gluttonous act of eating lots of food for the satisfaction of viewers. It is harmful to health and even morals. You have a lot of people sit in their cars and just show them eating tons of unhealthy food, and it just shows that the consumption of food has become more popular. And to me, it's almost like pornography for food. And it's really disgusting, because it's like, in my mind, how is your pressure after you eat all this food? And we just saw the video that it took 2 weeks. So people that make their streaming or their videos based upon eating food like this, I can't even imagine what their health is like. And more recently, there was a young lady, unfortunately, while she was doing one of her mukbangs, her stomach tore open. So she ended up passing on her stream, eating food. Zehu, that's all.
Horrible. May the Most High be praised. Horrible. Anyone else? Any other questions or comments, family?
Okay. It was a great presentation. Like I said, it brings out so much, a lot of things. I have a book that I had found, and it was published back in 1966. And even then, it was talking about the health concerns concerning eating so much of the white foods, white sugar, white flour, all these different things. And then, like I say, now with emulsifiers being thrown in the mix, it makes things just that much worse. It's literally putting glue in your body. And like I say, these things, it helps to combine the foods. And in fact, there was something my Ishai and I had talked about some years ago, that when you begin to look at first, just to touch on how they had the chicken wing shortage a little while back, and it was like, I don't know where there was no shortage of any other parts of the chicken, but the chicken wings they were so hard to come by, and all of a sudden they got plenty of chicken wings again. But when you start looking at how they say they don't inject them with steroids, and they don't do that anymore, but the young people now, when you look at a lot of our young people, you have these young men in middle school and in high school with full beards now. It's like grown folk going to school like they should be going to a job somewhere.
That's right.
But these things are being put into our children. So naturally, if it goes into the main part that you eat, it can't, like, you are what you eat. So it can't help but come out of into the body. And I had just seen and shared a post where a young lady was talking about there was a recall on so many of the vegetables that were put out because there's a listeria outbreak. And so again, it goes back to saying, okay, now they say, well, it's the vegetables. No, it's not that the vegetables are bad. No, it's like, say, get back to growing your own, because you know what you're putting in it. You know what you're putting on it. So even the vegetables that you get at market, you have to watch where you're getting it from and take extra precautions just to make sure that it's not tainted with E. coli, because the water that they're using to water it with could be runoff water from a cattle farm nearby. So again, it just pays for us to get back to the roots, get back to basics, grow our own food, supply our own community with the foods that we need, so that we could be healthier and have healthier bodies. So again, great teaching, phenomenal information. Total Rabah for presentation.
May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabah. Toda Rabah. Any other questions or comments, family? Anyone else? So I guess next week we have to do part 3. And remember, this page was like, this lesson was like 56 pages. And let me see what page we ended up on today. Where'd my lesson go? Oh, down the bottom. And today we stopped on page 16. So we got quite a bit to go, if the Most High allows us to get there. But this lesson is phenomenal, man. It's so much information, and it's all about the foods we put in our bodies that the Creator is using to bring that curse upon us with. Our own desires, our own cravings, He has given us over to the curse. And it's building up inside of us. It's so hard for us to just walk away because we have done it for so long. Now the things, the part of our body, the things within our bodies crave and desire it, and it's making us have a hard time letting it go, although we know it's killing us. Black people, people of color, are leading in strokes, heart attacks, aneurysms, high blood pressure, diabetes, almost everything you can name, we're the leadings in it because their diet is not our diet. But we eat just like them. Therefore, we're going to suffer just like them, and we're going to die. We wasn't made to live the way we're living. And a lot of this, we're being stuck in this curse, and we're going to die because we refuse to change our ways. If you find it hard to let that food go, look at a different aspect of your life and see where you're falling short in serving the Creator. And if you can correct that, the Most High might lift that curse up off you, and you won't have no problem letting that food go. Because the punishment for disobedience is death. You all understand what I'm saying to you? If you find it difficult to let these things go, look at your life and what you do and don't do in your life. Is it truly you're living a righteous life the majority of your day? The majority of your week? The majority of your month? If not all of your day and month and week? If you find places that you need to fix, change, and alter, like for some of these women, you might be having sex with men you ain't supposed to. Some of these men might be having sex with women that they ain't supposed to. Everything else they do right, except that one little thing they can't seem to let it go. That may be the one thing that's causing you not to be able to let that chicken go, so you'll die the death of the people who eat chicken. Think, family. The Creator ain't making no mistakes here. It is us who have made all the mistakes and all the errors. And it is us who need to get it right. We got so many comments popping up in the room. All right, this is where I left off at. Let's read that, see what it says. Oh, the delay has started again. Can y'all see that? Do y'all see that comment?
No.
Oh, okay, because I don't see it either. All right, there you go. They're saying, the saying we're just built different is literal when it comes to us and our body needs for substance and well-being. She's absolutely correct. And Shabbat Shalom, Yasmin. We are also non-active. Y'all know I don't like to just let y'all hear one voice for the whole lesson. You know, that's why I have people doing certain parts of the readings and stuff, because I think it's bad when you only hear one voice for 2 and 3 hours. If we can mix it up, that would be great. But if I got to hear it, I got to let it out, then I got to do it. I got to do it. We also not active, don't work out at all. That's right. Because obesity, overweight is not the only thing. Strengthening our hearts and joints is also important. That comes up in the lesson later on. When we get into the remedies of how to fix this problem, all that stuff come into play. There's a Chinese restaurant on every corner, a McDonald's and Wendy's on every block, in every borough, in every city, in every state, in every country. Laughing my that beef is not cow. Food deserts in the neighborhoods we occupy. That comes up later on in the lesson as well. You're absolutely right. Great lesson. What stuck out the most to me, is how much discipline we lack in so many areas of our lives, especially when it comes to food and drink. It's a sad thing. I'm guilty. This is the bang that I was telling y'all about earlier, family. He come to me one day, called me about 2 weeks ago. He says, Abba, I ain't smoking no more weed. I'm letting it go. I'm cutting it off because I realize what it's doing to me. How you making out with that? You still strong on that? You still got that discipline, that fortitude to let that marijuana out of your life, that poison? I pray that you are. I pray that you've been successful, and I pray that nobody in your life has gotten in your ear to try to get you to sneak back and fall back into that cycle. Because y'all got to remember that, family. A lot of times when you make up your mind to do something and the people in your circle don't, they will cause you to come right back into that same cycle of doing what you yourself had decided you no longer wanted to do. They'll put pressure on you. They'll do it around you. They'll sneak around you and do it, and they excite you to do it. The next thing you know, you're doing it again. But you just said you would never do it again. And all of a sudden, here you go again and don't understand why. And sometimes it just be that spirit they got on them comes upon you and make you do it, even though you said you wasn't going to do it. That's why you got to be real careful of the company you keep, family, because the company you keep is something. There's something, the influence that they have on you. One thing I learned over time is that the most tea and the herbs I drink, the less I have. Wait a minute. One thing I learned over time is that the most tea and herbs I drink, the less I have a desire for Mary Jane. So in order to overcome, we have to also be proactive. All right. Very good. May the Most High be praised. Tell the Rabbi, stay on path because it's difficult. I mean, it's not difficult once you make your mind up. You know, a lot of us, we just be whispering to ourselves, you know what, I'm going to stop this, and then we never do it. But then some of us, we be talking to ourselves, don't do that, and we don't do it. And that's the best thing. So talk to yourself regularly and command yourself into greatness. May the Most High be praised. Are there any other questions or comments before we close out, family? I want you all to know that we'll be back here today at 4 o'clock. We'll be back here today at 4 o'clock, and we're going to finish up our lesson on courtship. We're going to do the second part of our lesson on courtship today at 4 o'clock. So, you know, I would advise you all to come back and invite some of your friends because we need it. We need it. Natoya, I think you're speaking that you let other people influence you back into the path of things that you said you wasn't going to do again. I think that may be what you're talking about. Well, we'll be back today at 4 o'clock, family, if it is the will of the Most High. So I thank you all for coming out. I want you to know that we greatly appreciate you all for spending your morning with us. Those of you who have been here since the beginning of our class today, and even the other portion of class, my hat is off to you. May the Most High be with you. If there are any other comments, we're going to close it out, and we'll return back at 4 o'clock today. Shalom Aleichem. You're welcome, my sister. You're welcome. Al-Dabar, sister.